Is it not working?
No, it is now. It's now working. Hi everyone. Apologies for that. It's for some reason just stayed on going live for ages and it didn't like cut through. So yeah. So before I start with like answering questions and stuff, just want to say a quick bit. Apologies for having to jump off so early yesterday. Bit of a family emergency. It's all being resolved and everything, so it's nothing to worry about. It was just if I'd stayed on the stream, I probably would have been quite absent-minded and not been able to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So that's why I jumped off. If you're in need of my help whatsoever, the links are in the pinned comments on my website. And for anyone that wishes to donate, you absolutely don't have to. But if you wish to donate, there are links to my PayPal and Cash App there. Reason being, YouTube takes 30% of anything that you guys give. So it just basically means that you'll be losing some of your money to YouTube. So it's just a way to go around that. Again, you don't have to donate. It's just there for people that wish to. With those things said and out the way, let's get into the things, the questions, the things. Boomika says, hello, how's it going? Ashtown Love says, hi Ashtown Love. Cappadocian says, hey Cappadocian. I'm going to post this on Instagram while I can. By all means, keep firing away your messages and everything. That's absolutely fine. Anand says, hello Anand. M Joy says, yay. Howdy, M Joy. Like I said earlier, apologies I had to skip off yesterday. If you guys were, for any of you that were here yesterday. Ken Clark says, hey mate, howdy. JRC says, finally here for live. Hey, glad to have you here. Hopefully you'll be able to be here for next week's live because we will be doing more than likely the 3-hour one. At the rate that we're gaining subscribers, we should hit the 3K. Oh, it's my phone. At the rate that we're going, we should hit the 3K mark this week, and we'll be able to do the 3-hour stream next week. So hopefully you're able to show up for that. Jordan Strang says, hey man, hey, howdy, how's it going? Matt Schwartz says, hi Matt, howdy Matt, how's it going? Ken Clark says, sorry, I had to bounce early yesterday. It's all right, I had to do the same, so don't worry about it. Chris's Vibe says, hey, hi Chris's Vibes. Crimson Music says, hey, do hope all is well. Yeah, it was just an immediate out of nowhere thing, so I just had to quickly go sort that, and then yeah, like I mentioned in the end of in my community post, had I stayed on the stream, I would have been thinking about the other thing, and which means I wouldn't have had my attention with you guys. Obviously, when I'm with you, I want to be able to be with you as best I can. So that's why we're doing another one today to make up for it.
Sorry.
Kay's here.
My hair looks all weird.
He's fine.
We've just done like a near enough 3.5 hour drive
to
come home. So
yeah,
I'm all like.
Yeah, because we were staying at my mum's, who's up north compared to us, about 3 hours away, and we had to do like a little pit stop and everything. So yeah, it took a while to get back. So we're a little bit tired, but we'll do what we can. Bossing Up Affirmation says, hey, should I affirm 2 affirmations or rampage, but it doesn't imply the same thing? So it's personal preference. I use the affirmations rampage if I'm just posting it on Instagram for if I keep looking downward. I tend to use an affirmations rampage when I'm like trying to really drill it in, really take the time to impress, because I do believe that the calmer you get, the more relaxed you get, the more in a state of being open and allowing, the easier it is to impress, which I've stated in a couple of videos that I do think visualization is one of the best ways to impress, but I also think it's the most difficult for people because of issues they have. So when I'm affirmation rampaging, that's pretty much me being like, no, we're getting this. I'm taking this time now. I'm going to do what I got to do, sort of thing. And then general affirmations is just when I'm like, yep, I like it. I like feeling the feeling of having, but I'm not fussed about whether I get it now, soon, in a couple of months, whatever. So I suppose that's all personal preference on what exactly you're aiming for. You said, hey, should I affirm 2 affirmations or rampage? It's up to you. If you want to do the affirmations rampage, and if you want to do it via my video or via like someone else's version of affirmations rampaging, that's entirely up to you. I do find that affirmation rampages are definitely better when you actually really take the time to do them. So I suppose it's A, if you want to spend the time, and B, if you enjoy doing that. So I suppose that's more of a personal preference kind of thing. Let's get down. Cappadocian says, I'm working on my self-concept, but I've thought transmission with my SP. I feel she is always thinking of me and I don't want to think of her. What is your point of view? Okay, so why don't you want to think of her? I suppose is the first thing that I want to ask. The reason being, manifestation is supposed to be like a natural, this is what I'm actually experiencing kind of thing. So if you're with your person, you will still think of them on occasion. I mean, like, I don't think of Katie as much as I probably would have when we first started dating, because I know that she's going to be there when I get home. I know that I'm obviously going to wake up next to her, all those kind of things. However, when you're with someone, you don't actively try to avoid thinking of them, and it's supposed to be natural. I can understand if you were saying you don't want to think of her because you don't want to be attached or like have that attachment side. That completely makes sense. But I am curious to see why you don't want to think of her. Anand says, pretty nostalgic ringtone. What, the Instagram video that I had going on? I didn't really, I was just confused as to where the sound was coming from. GRC says, I know you have answered that. Oh shit, I need to go to live chat. I always bloody forget. Have I missed any chats just quickly? Sorry if I have. I don't believe I have. No, I haven't. JRC says, I know you've answered this, but how do we enter? Enter what? If you're on about the competition, I'm assuming, or like the giveaway, sorry. For every video that you comment on, if that hopefully this is what you're asking, and I've not just gone on a tangent. Could you possibly? Oh, that's fine. For every video that you comment on, like unique videos. So I think I have at the moment like 100 and something odd videos. So if you were to comment on every single one of them, you would gain entries. You basically just put a comment for the purposes of trying to keep YouTube from getting funny with me about like getting spammed. I do request that the comment be somewhat relevant to the video. However, at the end of your comment, if you just put CFC, which stands for commenting for competition, this will help me know that you're someone that's trying to get into the giveaway as opposed to just someone that is commenting. And that will gain you an entry. So you can comment on as many videos as you like. And the more comments you do on different videos, the more entries you will be receiving, the more entries you will receive. And it's literally just that simple, really. It's just the more comments. So far, we've got quite a list of people. A blank screen. We've got quite a list of people that have entered, which is great to see. And yeah, it's literally that simple. There is a community tab post that has more of the details on. If you're interested in checking it out and being involved, then by all means go check that community tab. And yeah, that's it. I didn't want to do anything too crazy, like some giveaways, like you have to subscribe to me and then share 10 videos and then put it on Facebook and stuff. I didn't want to do anything like that. I just wanted to be able to distinguish who was interested in the giveaway and who wasn't, basically. I've now posted that, so I can now actually look at the laptop more. Jordan Strang says, hey, Katie.
Hey.
And Matt Schwartz also says, hi, Katie.
Hi.
Anand says, hey, noticed y'all are back home. Yeah, we went on Thursday after I'd finished my normal job, my 9 to 5. And we have got back about 2 hours ago, maybe, or was it 8 now? 3 hours ago, give or take. Yeah, and it's a long old drive, 3 hours. I know to like some American people, that's nothing. So I know you guys drive like 10 hours in one go or something ridiculous. But yeah, for us, that's a big thing, considering the biggest drive that we do on an average basis is only about 45 minutes. So it was a big thing for us.
And yeah, we've got like obviously the 2 kids and no sleep for the entire time we were there. Like every single night there was just no sleep, because obviously we were staying up late because we were with family and like having fun and stuff, and then getting woken up at the exact same time every morning, even though they went to bed 3 hours after they normally would. So
yeah,
anyone with kids knows what that's like.
Ken Clark says, Matt and Katie, please describe your favorite Sunday roasts. So I actually don't have roast that often. I had one today because I was at my mum's, but I don't often have roast. If what you mean by your favorite, you mean what like the main meat is? Because what else do you really do in a roast? It's pretty much it's kind of like a full English breakfast in terms of it's the same.
Some people do sort of go like varied. So like some people have like macaroni cheese on there and like all different kind of weird things on there. But just like the standard.
I like just standard veg. Chicken is my favorite meat to go with it. I'm not the biggest fan of roast potatoes unless they're done properly. I really hate the dryness of potatoes. So if I have mash, if I have mash, it has to be covered in gravy and stuff, or like butter or whatever. So roast potatoes if they're done well. Yorkshire puddings, obviously. Chicken, general veg like peas, sweet corn, carrots, broccoli, that kind of stuff. What else usually goes in a mash? I don't like stuffing. I eat a little bit of it, but I don't really like it, and that's probably it for me. Can't think of what else even goes in a mash. In a roast. In a mash. In a mash.
Yeah, I don't know. My dad does a really nice one. You don't like them, but he does like honey roasted parsnips and carrots and stuff to go with it. That's quite nice. But yeah, I don't like pigs in blankets.
Oh, pigs in blankets are banging.
No,
Sorry, I was looking at something.
Like bacon, like sausages together, they're grim.
You see what I'm dealing with here, chat. Cappadocian says, message retracted. Love Tune says, any tips of letting go of anger towards your SP even though you manifested their behavior? So I think practicing gratitude for what you do have is very much easier. So if you're angry, let's say, for example, they left you and they left you in a horrible way and you're hurt, but you want to manifest them back. I find being grateful for the time that you spent together that was good is really good for that. And I find that actually sitting with the anger and asking yourself, why are you actually angry? What does anything that they did or said mean to you? And why does it mean that? And usually when you're able to pick apart the bedrock of it all, you can either A, make it not seem so big because you've sat with it, or B, because you've sat with it, you're like, oh, okay, well, now what do I do? You can't keep rehashing the same thing over and you can only be angry for so long, really. I mean, just a really crazy example. I've had my dad. I still now say that I hate him, but that's because I'm just used to saying that. The actual feelings aren't there anymore. I feel nothing towards him. I cannot, like, despite everything that he did and despite our relationship and everything that went wrong, I cannot physically hate him anymore because you just can't. You can't hold on for that for so long. You can hold on to, like, yes, I don't like him, but the actual feeling of it, of what they did to you and the anger and stuff, you can't hold on to for that long. And I think a big part of why I don't feel that towards my dad is because I'm actually able to look at the benefits of him walking out on me and all of the stuff that he did to me, and like how he made me feel and all that kind of stuff. I say this quite regularly to Katie, where I'm like, it sucks that people left, but if I hadn't gone into care, I wouldn't have ended up like this. And I do regularly say that because there's always a silver lining in any situation. You can always find it. And I find that that's probably the best way to deal with anger is finding the silver lining, because then it gives you something else within that anger to be grateful for. And then when you put your attention on that, not only do you manifest more good stuff in your life because you're grateful for the good things, but you'll find that you feel good being grateful for the good things, that you just don't have the time for anger. And meditation. That's also another good way. I think meditation is really handy.
Also, just like detaching the person to the action.
Yeah.
That's like a really good way. Like, you can hate what somebody's done without hating them.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you can't. Sometimes people do really fucking hideous things and you're just like, I fucking hate you forever. But you can sort of sometimes take what somebody's done and hate that, but know that they're not that person. They aren't that action. They might have caused it, but
yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say.
Ashtown Love says, Matt, I've been feeling anxious but pushing through with my affirmations, and it's been helping me forget my fears and also telling myself my fears aren't real, and it makes me forget the negative thoughts. Your channel, oh, that's different. That's good. Obviously, like I said, I did a video on fear the other day. If you haven't checked it out, please go check it out, because it was a video that I thought was really good, and a lot of the comments love it, but for some reason it just didn't do very well. But I actually genuinely think that it was a very important video. So if you're having anxiety or fear or anything like that in regards to manifesting or just in general, I definitely recommend you check it out. But I'm very glad that you're finding ways to get past the anxiety and to get past the fears and being able to console yourself. Because yes, obviously we have other people, like I have Katie and stuff, but the only person that we can always rely on 100% of the time is always going to be there is yourself. So if you can find ways to make yourself feel better without needing external validation, then you're one step ahead of a lot of people, because a lot of people look outward to validate themselves, which is obviously why they end up stuck in certain things. And it's really funny actually that you guys that I did that video on fear, because I'm not going to go into too much detail, but let's just say someone that I didn't expect to bumped into me literally the day after I did that video. I came across them and not scared at all, no fear whatsoever. But it's very interesting because in the video I mention my journey with conflict, and this very situation proved to me how much I really have grown when it comes to being able to deal with conflict and being able to trust in myself, knowing that I will come out the better side of conflict. And I'm not going to go into any details, but the person that I bumped into has spent many, many years saying that they would like to do a lot of harm to me. And then when placed face to face with me, they were the one making excuses to leave. And it was a very interesting situation for me, because it showed me, based on the video that I put out, how much I really have grown when being faced with potential conflict. So it was just a funny one of those little like coincidences, I suppose you could say. Anan says, at Love Tunes, it took it. Blah, blah, blah. Anan says, at Love Tunes, it took just a few days for me. Didn't reply. Do anything specific for that? Oh, the letting go of the anger. Yeah, that's also another thing which I probably should have mentioned. So thanks, Anand, for sort of making me think about it. Take time for yourself. I know we kind of did when we said like sitting with it, but I mean like do the things that you enjoy, that make you happy, that remind yourself how great life is, and that you don't have time for anger, and you'll find that things are great. Ashtown Love says, your channel is growing. Matt, proud of you. Thank you very much. I'm proud of myself and Katie and all of you for showing up and putting the work in. And without you guys, we wouldn't be here. I could put 1 million videos up, but if I don't have people supporting us, then it doesn't go anywhere. So thank you all very much for actually supporting the channel as well. It's just as much you as it is us. Boomika says, I am currently manifesting my SP. Do I visualize and script every day? If yes, do I script the same story? Does that make me needy? So first off, to answer the first part of it, if you enjoy visualization and if you enjoy scripting, then by all means do them. If you enjoy them and you enjoy the fulfillment that you receive through them, then by all means do them. You don't have to do them every day unless you want to. There is no obligation where you have to do anything. You could literally just flip the thoughts that you have to make sure that they end up in good thoughts. Like, for example, if you think of your SP, make sure that you're always thinking of from them as though you already have them and it's all loving and great. And that's all you have to do every time you think of them. That would be enough in itself. So forcing yourself to script or visualize is only a useful cause if you actually want to do so, and if you feel good doing so, and if it gives you that sense of, yep, this is mine and I enjoy it. As for do I do a new one? Only if you want to. Again, with my scripts, I tend to write one script and then leave them as it is, unless I feel the need to do another script, because I don't like if it's your perfect life and if you've written a script that you really enjoy, there's no point forcing yourself to write a new one when you can just reread that one and enjoy the scene. It's kind of like replaying a memory just in writing form. So I know it's probably not like the answer you were hoping for, but it is basically, do you visualize and script every day? That's entirely up to you. Do you feel good doing so? Does it make you feel the fulfillment of doing so? And do you switch it up or not? Again, up to you. If you enjoy switching up every story, go for it. If you enjoy having that one specific story and reading it, absolutely go for it. Oh, Kaz, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Hi, guys. I want consistent contact from SP, basically him pursuing me. So should I reach them out on days he doesn't? I don't want to, but fear he will forget me. Okay, so first off, thank you very much for... Oh, it says CA. So I thought that was saying Kaz sent $10. Sorry.
Oh.
This comes from B Givka. Apologies if I said that wrong. But they said, hi, guys, I want consistent contact from SP, basically him pursuing me. So should I reach out on days he doesn't? I don't want to, but fear he will forget me. Okay, so the first step there, I think, is you said it in your own thing. You fear he will forget you, which means you are in a state of lack of not having him being the way that you want him to be. You feel like if you pull back, if you let him pursue you, which is what you ultimately want, you fear you'll be forgotten, which says, it makes sense why you're not having that consistency, because you're playing out the fears. You're giving in to the fears, which is going to create more things for you to be scared of. And for you to be scared that he will forget you, you are also saying that you're not worthy of his attention, you're forgettable, you're replaceable. So for you to be able to gain consistent contact from him, I would go straight to the end as always. And if you really want consistent contact, and that's something that you really do want to work on, make sure you're working on the contact as though you're in the end. And this actually comes from, I know Joey from Living from the End with Jay has put a couple of community posts saying these kind of words, and I think they're very good for people that want contact. But I am in loving contact me and my specific person are in loving contact as a couple. You are stating that you are already that couple. I might have butchered what his affirmation actually is, but go check his channel out to see for yourself. But he basically said something along the lines of, me and person are in contact as a couple, because at least then you're still going to the end. They're in healthy communication as a couple. So that would be the first thing. Second thing, always go to the end anyway. So being in a loving relationship, because for you to be in a loving relationship, you must already have gone past the talking, communicating, dating stage to get there. But usually loving, happy, passionate relationships involve consistent, loving communication, which will come as part of your bridge of incidents. And thirdly, work on your self-concept and build yourself up. See yourself as irreplaceable, as pursuable, as worthy of love, worthy of being pursued, the greatest person he will ever come across, the greatest person that's ever existed. Because your self-concept will push out things to prove to you that that is the case. So if you're scared of not being contacted by him, your subconscious mind pushes out experiences proving to you that you're scared of not being contacted. So you're in this constant loop. However, if you know you're worthy of contacting, and of course he's going to contact me because look at me, your subconscious mind is going to push out experiences where he contacts you because look at you. So I really hope that helps. Thank you so much for the donation. We really, really appreciate that. And I really hope that answer has given you some clarity and ideas going forward. Now I have to find back where I was. Okay, so
I just have my cat piano.
JRT says, hello, I hope you guys are doing fantastic. I have one question. What do you think about full moon or new moon? Do you think it has an impact on your manifestation? I do not whatsoever. I don't think any form of astrology does. And I know the moon is closer. If it's even referring to our moon, I'm assuming it does. But and I'm only going to go brief on this because I know some of the OGs to this channel are probably tired of hearing me talk about astrology, but there is no reason, no justifiable reason when we're the operant powers as to why stars, moons, galaxy, Milky Ways, nebulae, black holes, fucking asteroids, anything like that has any effect on us. The light that we are seeing from the stars that you are referring to as Sagittarius and Cancer constellations or whatever, and I know you're talking about moons, but this is just astrology as a whole, that light will take light years to get to us, which means the sun might not even exist anymore. And I understand that you can make the argument of, well, like maybe the energy is still traveling or whatever, but what happens when that star no longer exists to us? The light gets to us. Does everyone that's like, oh, I'm this way because I'm a Sagittarius, do they just shut off and don't exist anymore? Does their personality just disappear? It doesn't make any sense.
You just got a little bit angry there.
No, it's not angry. I think it's just an interesting topic. I like talking about it, but I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. That's the problem. But no, I do not think that the new moon, full moon, anything like that has any form of effect because we're supposed to believe that we are the operant powers. If we're the operant powers, then why do moons and stuff have an effect on what we're doing, if that makes sense? So I personally don't believe it. I also want to state that I was not angry in any way. I get passionate about it, and I think that's the difference.
Joking. Yeah, no,
I know, but and I love talking about it. I got sassy, but I love talking about it. However, I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. Maybe
stop putting your butt in my face.
Maybe one day I'll do an astrology only live stream where we actually talk about only astrology. But I also want to point out though, if you want to believe that it will help you, and you go, oh, my SP's coming back because it's full moon. By all means, if it helps you get in the mood for it, but you ask for my opinion, and that is my opinion. I do not believe they have any effect. I like to believe I'm the operant power, and I like to believe that I have control over what happens in my life.
I think one thing that you should definitely do if you do sort of like follow the moons, follow astrology and everything like that is only really massively focus on the positives, because otherwise you're adding a limit to your to yourself. So, you know, if you're sat there thinking, oh, it's not the perfect time for me to manifest, therefore, you know, it's probably not going to work, la la la, just like find excuses for everything to be the absolute perfect time to manifest. So it is whatever day it is, therefore I have this power, perfect, let's do it. And just only pick out the positives, because otherwise you're just adding like an extra step to your journey that you don't really need. If you're sat there worrying whether or not it's going to work because an example, I can't think of one, but if you're sat there worrying about, oh, this means it's not going to work, you're just going to make it not work because you're telling yourself it's not going to work because of so and so moon or whatever. I mean, I definitely like to follow sort of different astrology thingies and just look at them and stuff. I just like, I like them because I do, but I also don't let them dictate what I'm doing with my life in any way.
Oh, for fun purposes, I can sometimes I read my horoscope and that just to see what's going on, but I don't live by it. Matt Schwartz says, coaches always say we manifest everything in our life, the good, the bad, and this whole everyone is you pushed out. That's what happened yesterday. What happened yesterday during your scream. Do you think you guys manifested that? I'm not going to go into details about what happened yesterday whatsoever. However, and I think if I was to, Katie might not see the links, but I think if I was to speak to her afterwards, she definitely would. I think yes, unfortunately. So I do believe that anyway. That whole you do create everything, but I can actively think of the things where I have said out loud or thought in the past about the situation, and I can understand why this thing has happened. And I think Katie might even be able to on her own as well.
So I agree, because it was like, we will not go into any detail at all, but it was something that was progressing, if that makes sense. There were sort of signs of something that was going to happen, or that there was a potential there, if that makes sense. We saw this happen, then we saw that happen, then we saw this happen, then we saw that happen, and both of us did genuinely sit there going, my God, what if this escalates to that? What if that goes to this? What if this turns to that? And we did. Yeah. We did most definitely together, collectively create the actual event. Because we let ourselves live as though it was happening.
Yeah. In a weird way. It's hard without you guys knowing context. It's hard to explain, but we're not going to go into it.
It's personal and private and stuff. But it was such a. I mean, so something happened, and it could have gone one or two ways. So we sat there, and you don't panic about it going the good way. You don't sit there and go, naturally, unless you make yourself go, no way, that's not going to happen. This is how it's going. This is what's going to happen. But you do naturally sit in a worry. And we spoke about it a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
We did, because, sometimes there are things that may happen that you do need to go, okay, but if this happens, we need this little sort of plan set up. But we just went in a spiral about it. It's a bad thing and a scary thing, and we went into a spiral, basically.
The thing is like Katie says spiral there, and it was in a way it was a spiral, but it was more of a discussion, as in like a what if, what do we do? Because I do believe that we create everything, and I wholeheartedly can say that we did create this situation. But there are some things that even I'm worried about just leaving up to the whole law of assumptions stuff. I know it's ridiculous, because obviously I sit here and talk to you guys about, don't worry, blah, blah, blah. But there are some things, and I've said this to some of my clients that have had certain examples where you could have potentially planted that seed prior anyway. So changing your thoughts is always a good thing, but there is always a potential that at least for a little bit after you've changed your thoughts, that something will play out the way that you don't want it to. Oh, is it dripping? Oops. Things will play out the way that you don't want to because of a potentially previously put in place seed. And this is one of those things where we needed a contingency plan for if it ever happened, which is why we ended up discussing it more than we probably should have. And the thing is, a lot of our discussions probably at the time weren't actually like spirally discussions. They might have been regular discussions, but they were just no different to me. It's been like, oh, by the way, chat, we should probably just consider what's going to happen if this does happen. And this actually leads me perfectly into another point that isn't relevant to this, but it's just a great like lead on. Some people come to me saying, I don't know why this happened. Like everything was going perfectly. And then all of a sudden this, and I can actively say that our conversations about this certain circumstance were just a what if. They weren't oh my God, we need to come up with this. It was just a little chit chat that we might have regularly had, and it created. So sometimes even the smallest thing has the potential. So if you're looking back at your life and going, I don't understand how that like happened, you can find it. You can definitely find either the regular thoughts or that one particular time when you'd overthought something and be able to attribute it to it. And I wholeheartedly believe that. And every single thing that I've said on this channel since I've started, where I've been like, I feel shit because of this, or this is going on, or this is going on, every single thing I know I have created, every single one of them. even like the breakup before I started a channel and got Katie back and everything, I can attribute that, and I have in multiple streams about my thought process. So I do wholeheartedly believe that we create everything that we experience, and I do wholeheartedly believe that we created this circumstance, and I also do wholeheartedly believe that we can fix this circumstance using the exact same thing that we used to accidentally create it. And this is what I preach to everyone: just because you've created something bad doesn't mean it can't be reverted, or at least fixed or worked on going forward. Jordan Strang says, I have a question. What does it mean when you randomly and natural visualizations of a manifestation comes up? It just means that it's on your focus, in my opinion. Obviously, where your focus goes, energy flows. The more that you either try to stop thinking of something or try to think of something, the more you will think about it. Like if I say, don't think of a pink elephant, you've more than likely accidentally conjured a pink elephant in your mind. Any kind of focus, and this is, again, this leads me on to another point, which I'll get onto, but any focus is focus. And you'll get what I mean, because when you're trying to say no, they aren't with the third person, that is the same as me saying no, don't think of the pink elephant. And what did you think of? The pink elephant. So if my affirmation is, oh no, they're not with the third person, I immediately think of them with a third person. So that is why I say to you to take your attention away from the third person entirely and put it on you and put your person instead. And to go back to the question, natural visualizations and daydreams and stuff like that of your manifestation are just a sign that you are placing regular focus on this thing, which means it is now regularly playing on your mind, even if more natural, which is a good thing, because then that means that you are, at least to some extent, rewiring yourself, because you don't naturally think about things like without forcing yourself to, unless your brain has it regularly thought of, if that makes sense. It's kind of like it's rewiring, basically. I mean, you could probably have a couple of thoughts here and there that are subconscious thoughts, like intrusive, but if you're having regular ones, I would say that is some form of programming that you have put in your mind of, hey, look at this thing that I'm showing you, basically, which is a good thing. Definitely take it as a good thing. GRC says, yes, sir. So I'm assuming that is to do with the giveaway. So hopefully I gave you enough information. If you need more information on the giveaway, please go check out the community tab. JRT says, I don't know why I always become negative during new moon or full moon, and I don't want to believe in my manifestation, and it doesn't happen on other days. I don't know why I always become negative during a new moon or full moon, and I don't want to believe in my manifestation, and it doesn't happen on other days. I think people have a funny reaction to the new moon, full moon, moving into Virgo, whatever, I don't know the other terms, because there's such a big thing in the manifestation community about it. You see so many things about like, oh, the new moon's changing and now all of a sudden you're going to have to do this kind of thing, or extra manifestation power, or like those kind of things. Like you hear these kind of things all the time. So it's not a surprise, because I don't know how long you've been in this community. More of a law of attraction thing. I think law of assumption leave that kind of stuff out of it a lot more, or at least the channels that I've seen regularly floating about do. But yeah, law of attraction, I remember when I first got into it, every other video was like, oh, the moon is moving, and it's like, things are working, things aren't working. And I think that in itself has created this either a false expectation, which you haven't succeeded on in the past, and that's now why you feel negative, or you're expecting something to happen now and it's making you feel down because maybe you don't see a sign of it, or those kind of things. I don't think the actual full moon or new moon has any effect on you. I think you just have an assumption, as you say, I don't know why I always become negative, which means you have an assumption that you will, and you're just regularly playing out that assumption until you change it to, oh, wow, every new moon or full moon, I feel great. It may not make any difference, but if you believe it will, that's your assumption. Just like I assume that it doesn't, and that's why for me I don't have any success. That's why for me I don't need the full moon or the new moon or whatever to manifest well, because I don't have the assumption that anything other than myself is all I need. I don't, just rearrange the words and you'll get what I meant to say there. Boomika says, what are some of the signs that signify your manifestation is almost here in case of an SP? So I don't often like to delve into signs too much, because the last thing that I want to do is say, oh yeah, that's a great sign, your thing's coming, and then they wait like 2 weeks and it's like, oh well, nothing's here, and then I'm like, oh, but now you're affirming nothing's here, and then they go backward. But quite commonly, a lot of what other people have said have been signs. and then they got their person quite quickly, because I actually didn't have any signs of Katie. It was just out of nowhere, like boom, she was like talking to me again. So I can't actually speak from my own experience on that. But a lot of other people that I've coached and stuff have said that seeing someone that looks like their person, seeing their person's name quite a lot. And there was one that I had from a client a couple of weeks ago that I thought was really interesting, and now it slipped my mind. If I think about it, I'll come back to you. But those two are very common, seeing their name and seeing someone that looks like them a lot. But again, I cannot say that means it is almost here. That could just mean that your subconscious mind is picking up the focus of this person or their name or their features, and thus playing out something that shows you something similar to that. I think signs are a very good thing to keep you motivated, to know that you are impressing your submind to some extent and that you just got to keep going. But they are partial manifestations in themselves. So if you focus on them too much, you could potentially create more of them, which means you'll just be creating more and more signs instead of the manifestation in itself. Always just stick to the end. Use them as fuel. Get excited if you want to, but just always stick to the end. Love Tune says, hi, can you manifest your SP back when you still feel so angry? So yes and no. Why is my phone just opening up the dominoes? Yes and no. So you can manifest in any state besides a state of lack. I think if you are actively in a state of, oh, I don't have them, they don't love me, they don't this, they don't that, chances are you're not going to manifest them back. But if you're like in a case of, oh, when they broke up with me, this fucking sucked and I'm angry and I just want them to know how I feel. But then like the rest of the time you're doing your best to be like, but we are in this loving, passionate, committed relationship now. We do communicate really well. We do have this loving situation. Then yes, I believe you can manifest while still angry. I do believe, however, that it might make it a bit harder for yourself, because anger is just holding on to the old story. And if you're angry about the breakup, for example, you're probably going to continuously focus on that breakup until you manage to forgive and let go. If you're angry at like something they did during the relationship and you don't ever think about the breakup, you just think about some dumb shit that they did while you were together, then probably you'll be all right. But if you're angry at something that they did that would signify a separation, or how they've hurt you or how they make you feel not good enough and stuff, I think that might cause some problems, but it doesn't mean that you can't do it. I just think you might have a bit more of a tough journey until you are able to forgive. I think forgiveness is an extremely strong thing when it comes to manifestation and life in general. Yeah, so hopefully that helps. Bhumika says, any tips for manifesting an SP quickly? So the first thing when it comes to time, remove the concept of time. If you're trying to manifest them quickly, you are in a state of lack of having. You are saying, I don't have them. I'm desperate for them. So I'm not pushing out of the way. I just do a lot of hand movements. I don't have them and I need them quickly because either A, it validates me. Oh, fucking cat was in it. Or B, something along the lines of, you might be scared that they're going to move on. You might be scared that they've met someone else. You might be scared that they're going to forget you, which all comes from a bad self-concept. So 9 times out of 10, when you're trying to manifest something quickly, it's because you are in a heavy state of not having. You're in a heavy state of lack. So my first bit of advice would take away the need for it quickly. Because I can promise you as well is that the more that you focus on doing it like right, as opposed to doing it fast, not only will you get a better manifestation because you're actually coming from love and abundance, but because you're coming from love and abundance, you will get it faster. I can almost promise you, and I actually do have a video coming up hopefully soon from a client that I've worked with. We're going to be doing a one-on-one video call where she can explain her situation and how my coaching actually helped her and what her journey was, because that was a request that I had a little while ago. And in that, she actually says that her journey was very much like, oh, I want it now sort of thing. And it wasn't until she took her foot off the pedal and just said, I'm good. I know that I'm worth it. I love him and blah, blah, blah. And then it came in like, I think her first message about saying, hey, Matt, we're back together now was like a month, maybe a month and a half after we'd stopped coaching. So I can say more than likely for sure that had she not kind of took her foot off the pedal in terms of the need for it quickly, she probably would still be trying to manifest him now, because needing it quickly is what keeps it away. Not needing it quickly is what allows the universe to just do what it's got to do and then just lets it come in, because you're not in that lack of having. Yeah, so hopefully that helps. Love Tune says, at Anand, did it stop your SP coming back? I feel like my anger towards him is halting things as my thoughts keep jumping to being so annoyed at him. Okay, so yeah, that would mean that I'm more likely assuming that you're angry towards the way things ended. And yeah, like I mentioned a second ago, I definitely think that would be a little bit more difficult to deal with, because like you say, you're jumping back to how you're angry, you broke up, you don't like each other, and he did this, he did that. And then on the other times, you're trying to say, yeah, we're in this loving, committed relationship, and you're occupying two stories at the same time. And it's just not working because you're identifying easier with the anger because you're feeling that anger as opposed to feeling that, yep, this is amazing and we love each other sort of thing. Ashtown Love says, what's the pink stuff in your drink, Katie?
Oh, they're just nothing interesting. They are, I'm trying to fish it out now. You know those like little plastic ice cubes? I can't get it. They're little love hearts, but you freeze them and the liquid inside them freezes and keeps your drink cold.
Yeah, without getting it all watery and gross. Anand says, at Love Tune, I mean, 3D hasn't caught up yet, but still think anger might kind of mean holding on to an old story. Try to ignore the old man. That'll definitely help your manifestation. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I jumped. What a bummer.
I think going back to what I said earlier about detaching the actions, because obviously when you're manifesting your SP, you want to manifest the new version of them anyway. The one that you actually want, not the one that did those things to you in the first place. So I think putting them in your head in two different places is a really good way to start.
Yeah. Salma says, I've been trying to manifest a relationship with my SP for 2 years now, and at some point we were close, but it didn't work, and now it's gotten worse than ever. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so I haven't been involved for the 2 years, so obviously I don't know what your journey is. I can't know what you're doing. So I can only go off of your comment. So if I make some assumptions that aren't true, I do apologize. The first off, you're saying trying to manifest. It's not a trying process. It's a case of experiencing within your mind. So you're not trying to bring them in and trying to force things. You're just in a case of, this is my experience. Can I actually have a Pepsi instead, please?
Yeah.
I'll keep that water. I'll keep the water and I'll just have a Pepsi separate. So you're not trying to get them. You're just simply, this is my experience. You don't try to get what you already have. And the whole point of manifestation is you get what you are or what you have, not what you want. So if you're trying to get them, that is saying that I don't have them yet. Therefore, I must do something in order to get them, as opposed to this is my experience. I am with this person. I am this. I am that. And at some point we were close, but it didn't work out, and it's gotten worse than ever. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And the other factor, and again, it's just a blanket assumption. Potentially, if you were to get close and then it didn't work out, either that means A, your focus wasn't on the end result, or when you started getting close, you then started to not panic, but you then started to maybe let it get a bit ahead of itself. You kind of forgot your frame. You forgot where you were, like how you're the upper power, you're amazing, you're worthy of all the effort, and started to pedestalize this person. And because you put them on a pedestal, you're basically putting them out of reach of yourself. And that's now what's pushed them away. Because that is something that's quite common. And I've seen that quite a lot with my clients and in a couple of comments and stuff, that as soon as they start getting successes, they go back to their person being on that pedestal, because they're like, oh yeah, I am great, I've done all this, I've done all that, and then their person comes back in, and all of the old story of how their person was better than them and their person's out of reach comes back in, and this pushes them away again. That's quite a common thing. Obviously, I only have your comment there to go off of, but hopefully that gives you some ideas. If you were to look back at sort of your past 2 years, you might be able to notice either some inconsistencies with the story, or how you've tried to occupy multiple different realities at once by saying, like, living in the end, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, this person's back in, but they're definitely like too good for me. Just a possibility. Thanks.
You're welcome. I now have yellow ones.
Love Tune says, thank you, Anand. Yes, I'm trying then without noticing. My mind drifts to the anger and rage towards him, and I have to keep changing my thoughts, but my instinct is to be so annoyed. I would just take some time for you. You're not gonna, well, you're not going to, but it is going to be hard for you to manifest them when in that state. So there's no point in you putting all that mental effort in to try and manifest him if you can't let go of the story. So I would just say, take some time to be able to let go of the story and then go back into it. Do some gratitude and some forgiveness and all of that good stuff. It'll be the best thing for you, in my opinion. And then you can have a happy life. Because, like, well, let's say he comes back tomorrow and he's like, I love you, I want to be with you, you're the best person that I've ever met. but you're just like, yeah, but you're a twat because of all of this, this, and this. It's just not going to be a happy life. You don't really want him right now when you are in the state that you are currently in. So I would recommend that you take some time for you to just kind of forgive, forget, let go, and enjoy yourself, and then get back into it when you've let go. Boomico says, thank you so much. That was really helpful. You are very welcome. And Nan says, don't worry, that anger will definitely fade away and you'll get your person in the 3D soon. Good luck. That's also actually a point that I do want to make. The term time heals all wounds, I think, is a very misleading term. And I want to make a point on that. Nan, you are very correct in terms of like the way that you've said that, as in you'll definitely fade away. However, I don't think time heals all wounds. I think what you do with that time is what heals the wounds. Because I know, and I've had people literally come to my channel saying, I've been trying to manifest this person for this long, and I'm still hurt that they left. I'm still hurt that this, I'm still hurt that that. And I'm not any of you, so I don't know how you work in terms of like your thoughts and feelings and stuff. But 9 months is a very long time. And I think you can still want someone and you can still miss someone. But I think the genuine hurt that some of these people have come to me saying that it's like, I can't stop crying, I can't stop eating. Because I've had this. I've had people come to me saying, I can't eat because I don't have them, but it's been 9 months, you know? And I think that's because they've not been working with that time well. And this is why I preach so much self-concept, because I want you to be living your absolute best life with or without these people. So yes, the anger will definitely fade away, but you can make it fade away much better, much more efficiently, and much healthier by tackling it in a best way, as opposed to just going, I'm going to be angry until it eventually disappears. Because that's why therapists do so well, because they help people get rid of, well, I say get rid of, they help people go through it in a more healthier functioning time scale than what people doing it on their own would do. That's not to say you're going to be stuck in anger forever. I just want to make a point that time heals all wounds when you use that time effectively. BG Vicar, B Givka, sorry, says, thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you very much for your donation. It's very kind of you. Leanne D says, hey guys, howdy, Leanne. How's it going? Hey. GRC says, so did you find having other responsibilities such as full-time job, children, and so on make manifesting more difficult? No. I found it a difficult shift because when I was unemployed, the kids would go to school, Katie would go to work on the days that she worked, and then I would have all day to script and visualize and all that lot. So when I ended up getting my full-time job, I did find it quite difficult to be like, well, that's what now was my routine. I don't have time to script and visualize. And I found it difficult to transition. But now I actually find that having everything has made me it made it much easier for me to manifest. And here's the reason why. You don't have to believe your assumptions. To begin with, I did not believe that I was worth the amount that I earn from my job now when I first started. But I eventually got the job because it's the feeling as though it's true. Not the believing, but like the feeling in that moment when you're doing your affirmations or your visualizations or whatever, that it is true for you. I did that enough to the point I got my job. And I'm like, oh, wow, now I'm worthy of this job. And then that's when the transition of all my affirmations and everything. But then I was able to provide for my family better. And this is like a weird tangent. And this is my personal journey. So I don't know if anybody else has had something similar or different. But then I started to be able to provide for my family much better. And I'm like, oh, actually, I'm actually quite a good dad. I'm actually quite a good partner because I can make sure the kids have everything. I can make sure that like Katie doesn't have to spend her money if she doesn't want to. And then obviously I started the coaching stuff because I now had this new sense of self-worth. My coaching started building. And then because now that I've got the coaching business as well as my job, I can basically give the family anything that they want. And I'm being able to pay off the debts that I spent so long struggling to deal with. And then I started obviously going to the gym. So now I feel like I'm better, which is a self-concept improvement. And now I've got to the point where I feel so good within myself, both visually from like the workouts and taking care of myself, financially, because of the job, because of the business. I've done a lot of self-improvement stuff separate to law of assumption, like genuine self-improvement, because it all links obviously, but people that don't know about law of assumption or don't have any involvement in law of assumption, I've done their kind of self-improvement as well, because it's actually improving yourself as an individual as opposed to just the mindset. And a lot of it is mindset, but yeah. So because I now feel good in myself, I feel like I look good. I've done a lot of self-improvement, so I'm a lot calmer, a lot more confident. I'm a lot more structured. I'm a lot more precise, decisive, all that kind of stuff. Financially free, well, not free yet, but financially better. All of that in itself has made me feel like, and for want of a less egoic term, a powerful individual. I feel like there's basically nothing that can stop me. So now that I've got all of those things that have chain reaction from being unemployed and a bum and feeling worthless to this point, even though I have less time to do manifestation, I now feel like a higher value individual because of those things. And when you feel like a higher valued individual, your self-worth goes through the roof. So now it's actually quite easy for me to manifest because my opposing stories just don't exist. I don't have money issues, so I'm not scared of not having money. I don't have as much concerns about not being able to be a great boyfriend or to be worthy of Katie, because I know that I am a great boyfriend, because look at what I can offer. Look at how much I have going for me. So of course I can be able to do anything that I want in order to make Katie happy, in order to love Katie with unconditional love, as opposed to I'm giving you love, so you must love me back. I'm so confident within myself that I can give Katie unconditional love. And if she was to spit in my face today, yeah, it'd suck, but I know that I'd be okay going forward. So it was a strange transition, but those things have allowed me to build up my character. And now manifesting is actually much easier for me because my self-concept is just kind of through the roof. So hopefully that gives you a rough idea of my journey. Love Tune says, thank you, Anand. Jordan Strang said, oh God, who's triggered him about astrology and the stars? Yeah, it's not a good idea. Wow, we're really behind on the comments.
Very, very behind.
Anand says, also triggered. Jordan Strang says, you're a little bit. Nah. I like the conversation. I ain't triggered.
He just gets really like overexcited.
Yeah, I like debating. I like arguing.
He's like, yep, ready for this. Astrology.
Anand says he definitely was. B Give Kerr says your cat is a beauty. Yeah, that's one of them. That one's Rogan. We have a black cat called Ray Ray and a ginger cat called Sif.
We haven't seen either of those yet since we've got back, so we're hoping that they are just on their way. Obviously, we had people come in to like look after them and stuff. They saw them, but since we got back, that was like the first time Rogan's really been in. That's why she was so needy just then. And now she's sat over in the corner just staring.
No. Jay Shree says, ma'am, it's either man or man is talking to one of us. How should I release deep-rooted trust issues regarding men? It's become quite difficult due to negative experience of others and mine too. Would you like to tackle that one? Or do you want me to?
How should I release deep-rooted trust issues regarding men? I don't. Do you
want me to tackle it? What you think, or?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay, so I have had trust issues with women before, and that was the issues that Katie and I had at the beginning of our relationship, which is what in turn turned everything to go wrong in the first place. And I have two things to say on this point. The first one is to always work on you, and I know you're probably all getting tired of me saying that, but the reason being is if you can trust that you're okay, regardless of if this person was to do the worst thing that they could possibly do to you, your trust issues just, they fizzle away so much easier. There are still times when you might have like, oh, they're on their phone, I'm a bit nervous, or they're texting someone else. But that kind of stuff usually goes when you can trust that no matter what happens between the two of you, you are going to be okay because you've got you. And the whole thing of self-concept is to be able to trust in yourself and to love yourself and to provide for yourself and to be able to put yourself first. And yes, it would hurt if they were to do something to hurt you, but you have to remember that that's also a worst case scenario. And you're going to be fine even if that worst case scenario happens. The second side of that is you're the operant power, which means you may have had trust issues because of what's happened to you in the past. And I'm not like excusing any behavior that anyone in the past has done to you. However, you know that you are the only thing stopping yourself from getting better people, from getting people that are willing to treat you like the god or goddess you are. And by taking that into consideration, you can then go, okay, so I have trust issues because of this, and this. I'm going to work on this and try to forgive and let go as best I can. And going forward, I'm only going to accept the very best. So if someone does show red flags, they're not for me. There's clearly still some work that I need to do in order to be able to create the best version of my partner. And I will only accept the best, and I will accept nothing less. And then when you do this, you're going to get more people that are higher value, that are going to offer you exactly what you want, because you're not settling for anything less. And B, you're going to be okay that even if you find the most amazing person and they leave or they hurt you, you're okay because you've got you. And these two things added together basically make such a healthy, loving, passionate relationship, because you are the operant power. You're the only one holding yourself in place in terms of these trust issues. And the only reason that they keep replaying is because you have these trust issues. Like Neville said, there's no one to change but self. Yes, I know that these are external people that have hurt you, but you're the only one keeping yourself in that loop with the mindset that you have trust issues. If you change that mindset, or if you change that assumption, the effect of it will also change. Did you want to put anything in?
I think you pretty much said like a very good way of doing it. I think a lot of it is saying to yourself that you will never let that happen to you again. Mm-hmm. The fact that, it happened in the first place. I think as well, if it's happened with somebody completely different, it's not the same story at all. There is no way that your current story can be the same as what has already happened. There is, the same people aren't involved anymore. There's not the same situation going on. But yeah, I think a big part of it is to make in your head you the very best thing in the world. I'm currently trying to do that, for myself. Matt always laughs at me because I spend 90% of the day going, I hate this, I hate that, and then every now and then I'm like, I am the most beautiful person in the world, look at me, I'm amazing, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. But it's quite hard to trust other people when you can't trust yourself. And that sounds kind of strange, because you know that you're not going to hurt anybody, but you hurt yourself. I think a lot of people spend a lot of the day continuously hurting themselves. They stand there looking at themselves saying, I hate this, I don't like that, I'm this, I'm that, of course this will happen to me, I know, you put yourself down a hell of a lot, which means you then create scenarios in which you can get really hurt, because you're sat there hurting yourself quite often. So I think a massive thing is to work on your self-concept. Make yourself irreplaceable. Make yourself this amazing, just start viewing yourself as that shit can never ever happen to me. First of all, I'm never gonna fucking let it. I won't even let it get that far. But secondly, no one can do that to me, because I am the greatest thing that's ever fucking existed. Don't care how big-headed it sounds. Don't don't sit there thinking, oh, this is a bit weird because I do that, but don't do that. Sit there and just say to yourself, you are absolutely amazing, you're absolutely incredible, and there is no fucking way that you would let a man do that to you anyway. So, you'd cut it off, basically.
Just want to point out, I don't laugh at her for trying to make herself feel good. I laugh at the way she goes from one to the other, within 5 minutes. I find it funny.
Yeah. It's literally a personality switch.
Yeah.
It's that. I'm stood there what the fuck is this in the mirror? And then I'm like, oh my God, it's a princess. It's amazing. It's gorgeous. It's lovely. But yeah, I think, basically what I was trying to say in that whole thing is, you're not going to let somebody do that to you. Fuck off. No way. Never, and I think just believe that, no, just don't even let it cross your mind. Just shut it down. Sorry, I'm really hard to talk. I have ear infection and sinus infection, so every time I talk it's all croaky and my ears are echoing, and I just hot and
so hopefully that answered. Hopefully it gives you some ideas. Dave Moody says, my last comment didn't show up. How strange. Was it in the stream? That's weird if it didn't show up. Anyway, had a few sessions with Matt, would highly recommend. Since then, more money, finally allowed to play guitar again after surgery, and new band setup, all good. That's great, Dave. I'm actually really happy for you. you'd have to drop me an email and we can have a little chat. Obviously, I'd love to hear more about it all. But yeah, congratulations for all the improvements. It's really good to hear. Anand says, yeah, it was too weird because you said I might end the stream and it's a reality as well, and you had to end it. It was just weird. Is that to do with yesterday? Yeah, it was too weird because you said I might end the stream and it's a reality as well, and you had to end it. It was just weird.
To do with did you guys manifest it happening?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all just it was a crazy circumstance. Not surprised because obviously, like we mentioned earlier, but yeah, it was just like a unexpected in the moment kind of thing. JRC says, hit the like button, everyone. Thank you very much. If you could all hit the like button, it would be very kind of you. Thank you very much, JRC, for reminding everyone. It boosts the algorithm and then more people watch and stuff. And it helps with like revenue and helps get more people to the channel. And it helps us help as many people as we can while we're here. So thank you, JRC. Dev says, hello guys, sorry I'm late. I was working on my resume. I mean, it's absolutely fine. Hopefully your resume is top shape and you will get all the jobs in the world, every single one of them.
Everything you want.
Yeah. Appleworm says the best phrase to repeat to yourself over and over again is what's the best that could happen? What's the best that could happen? Never go to what's the worst. Yeah, you definitely should always be trying to find the silver lining and the best of every single situation. And your life will turn around. But we're all human. We all sometimes get involved in the 3D. I definitely do. And that's why I've never said to anyone that they should never react to the 3D. I do quite heavily preach that there are ways to react to it better than others, and that if you do react, it's about how you pull yourself out of it that matters, because we are all human and we do all slip up sometimes. And I think that's why my channel is doing quite well, because I think a lot of people can relate quite well, because there's a lot of other channels out there that almost act like they never react and there's nothing wrong in the world and they don't even know what a negative thought is anymore. And I think that's very unrealistic.
You guys are so stupid for having them.
Yeah, and I think that's very unrealistic, and I think that's why a lot of people have sort of navigated toward me in such a short period of time and had a lot of success with a lot of my clients and stuff. I know I haven't posted a success story in a while, but that's because I've been getting a lot more new clients and I've been trying to test out a lot of different kind of community tab posts, and like with the polls, which you may have noticed I've been doing more and stuff like that. And I've actually had quite a few negative comments about success stories, not about mine in particular, but I've had quite a few people saying, oh, I've seen a success story video from like you, or I had one about someone else before, and they're like, it just makes me feel like I'm doing it wrong. And that's why I've avoided posted full videos, because I just don't want people to go, oh, I saw your channel and it made me feel worse. I'm here to like offer hope as best I can. JRC says only good thoughts manifest. Absolutely. Powerful brain. And then Roy says, at Love Tunes, you're welcome. Missy B says, hey, Matt and Katie just came onto the stream. Howdy, Missy. Happy to have you here. B Gifka says, do you have a video talking about what the SP feels while they're being manifested? I do. I can't remember what it's called. Let me just have a little look at the name. I think it's something like, this is what your SP feels when you're manifesting them. Let me just find it. It wasn't that far back, was it? No. Sorry, I got a bit silent here. Could you find it? It's something like, this is what your SP feels, or something like that. Or this is what they feel. I can't remember. Jordan Strang says, funny, I've been seeing both of those signs a lot recently. Well, that's a good sign. Look out for that then. Appleworm says, everyone stop and take a look at your subscribe button. Make sure it's being hit. Oh, yeah. Like, obviously, if you could subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, that's amazing. That would really help me out. We have the 3K giveaway very soon. As Anand pointed out in one of my comments, back in March, I was only at 100. So we've done really well, all things considered. So thank you all for everyone who has subscribed. And thank you for anyone who's watching this in the future that will subscribe. We appreciate all of you, and having so many people that we can talk to, we can have fun with, has made our lives so much better. And like, even if you set aside the revenue and the coaching money and all that lot, just getting to know you guys and being able to see like, oh, there's Anand, oh, there's JRC, oh, there's Natty J, there's all of these people that we recognize. And there obviously are plenty more. I'm just not going to go through that list. It's nice to have there's so many people that Saturday and Sunday, or Saturday or Sunday, take up their time just to come chat. I know a lot of you do have questions and you're looking for help, but there are also a lot of people that do just sit there and just chat. They do just sit there to have a good old time talking to us. So like, we are very appreciative that so many people have taken their time out to talk to us, and all of the compliments that we've both gotten and everything. And it's just great. It just really is great. So the more subscribers we get, it's just the more potential friends to make. And we just really appreciate all of you. Dev says, my SP is Rubina. Okay, so my SP's name is Rubina. I'm assuming you said I saw a poster and it was written Rupina, not exactly her name, but is it Birds Before Land? If you'd like to assume it to be Birds Before Land, there's nothing to say that it isn't. If you assume it to be true, that could you just feed your subconscious mind whatever it is that you want to feed it. It doesn't have eyes, so it couldn't have seen that it was Rupina and not Rubina. So you could have just said, "Oh look, Rubina, that's my girlfriend's name," and then your subconscious mind just has nothing to take but that. So if you want to see it as Birds Before Lands, by all means, but make sure that you're using it to benefit your desires, basically. I skipped a lot. If we could...
I can't find it.
Can you not?
No.
Oh, there. So the video is called "This is what happens to your SP when you affirm." So I can't remember what your exact question was. Let me just find it.
Do you have a video?
Yeah, do you have a video talking? Yeah, so I specified when it's affirm, but it'll be the case for pretty much anything, whether it's visualization, scripting, whatever. But it's called "This is what happens to your SP when you affirm." It was posted 3 months ago, and there is the thumbnail. It's me finger gun in my own head. Whoa, I had a good green. That was weird. If we could just stop on the comments for a moment or slow down, unless I specifically ask you, like, oh, could you clarify whatever, just so I can try and catch up, because we're at 1 hour and 5 so far, and we don't want to go past 1 hour and a half today because we obviously need to unwind
and sleep.
And I know that we are so far behind. Did you want to say something?
Yeah.
Oh, Natty J says, hello. So I stopped affirming for my original SP because I was talking to a new guy, but now I want my old SP again. How to not feel like I ruined the progress I made from February to July? Because you haven't ruined the progress. Circumstances don't matter. So you haven't, by just not affirming for your specific person, doesn't mean that you've gone backward. It just means that you've put your attention somewhere else. All it is a case of is just getting back on the horse and going. You know, just think of it like you parked your car halfway on your journey, had a little stroll around, went for a wee or whatever. Now you're back at your car and you're going again. Try and see it like that. It's not, you haven't ruined it. It's just a case of getting back on the horse, I suppose. Missy B says, I sent you an email earlier and I would be grateful if you could reply before 11:30 before I meet my SP. Thanks as always, and hello to everyone. I will do my best, but we have had a busy day, but I'll see what I can do. I haven't even checked my emails for a while because of the traveling and stuff. Is that IK or LK? Oh, it'd be IK, wouldn't it? IK says, can you please explain why sometimes we get the opposite of what we are affirming? So there are two potentials. I actually spoke about this in yesterday's stream, but I'll go through it again. So the first thing is, a lot of the time when people do affirm, especially if they're new to it and they haven't kind of got used to what works well for them, their affirmations are coming from a desperation standpoint. So it's not a case of, this is my experience, I love being with this person. It's, I need to affirm to get this person. I am in a loving, committed relationship. This person is mine and I'm going to do everything I can and I've got powers. That's basically how a lot of people go into it. But that kind of mindset when doing it is a lack mindset, because you're doing the affirmations to get them. You're not doing the affirmations because that's your experience internally. And that in itself is saying, I don't have this, so therefore I must affirm to get them. And if the overall state that you're in is, I don't have this, that's obviously what you're going to get. So the first potential is that that's the way you've been affirming. And the only fix for that, and it is quite simple, is to not be so desperate for it, to just relax and be like, no, I'm good because I've got my person. I feel amazing because I've got my person. Not, I've got to affirm to get my person, if that makes sense. The other thing, and this is a Never Goddard term, is the purge. And the purge is, I'm pretty sure, the idea of your subconscious mind basically flushes out your old story to basically ask you, is this what you want? And because it holds it in store, your subconscious mind is basically like a storage. It holds the stories that you hold on to. So when you're changing your assumptions, your subconscious mind basically plays it out for you to say, this is what we've got. Are you sure you want to change this? Because again, your subconscious mind doesn't have a concept of good or bad. So it doesn't know that by asking, are you sure you want your person to not be with this other person? It doesn't know that that's hurting you. It just knows that's what you've got stored in it. I try to now no longer assume the purge to exist. I can see why it does because of the way that the mind does work. But I have tried to stop assuming that it does, because there's obviously a purge isn't a good thing. It's not an enjoyable state. Like, yes, you could go, oh, well, this is happening, so that must mean I'm getting my thing. But it's not a fun state to be in. And so I've tried to stop assuming it's the purge. But those are the two possible options. Hopefully one of them resonates with you. Missy B says, a question for Katie. Love the nails, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
And then they said, I don't wear heavy makeup to anyone. I'm meeting my SP later. I'm wondering your opinion on wearing makeup or not. Just another female opinion. I feel okay either way.
Cool. Just do what you're more comfortable with, to be fair. So I personally wear makeup every single day. I just like to, and it's what makes me feel comfortable. But yeah, you don't have to do anything special for your SP. You don't have to do you know what I mean? You don't have to like put on makeup when you wouldn't normally, just because you think it's, like good for your SP kind of thing. I'd say just be your normal, comfortable self, basically. Because you don't have to make any sort of changes to your appearance or anything like that. But yeah, I personally do wear makeup every single day. Don't really leave the house without it on. But
yeah, again, it's do what feels good for you, what makes you happy. JRC says, Natty, you never...
Oh, sorry, just one thing to add.
Yeah.
So every now and then I do my makeup really extra specially, because it makes me feel extra, like, do you know what I mean? Like extra sassy, extra bad bitch. So if that gives you that kind of vibe, it might give you that little like confidence boost sort of thing. So like, yeah, just do what you feel like is best. But yeah, they're my two sort of, either just go as your natural, happy, authentic self, or if you want to feel like a bad bitch, put some makeup
on. JRC says, Natty, you never ruin your manifesting. Absolutely. Ashtown Love says, oh, those are cute, Katie. I'm assuming it's talking about your nails.
Oh, they are.
They are very nice.
So close up. They look like those.
Ricardo says, how can you manifest from the end when you always feel apathetic? What does apathetic mean? I never know the difference between empathetic and apathetic. And hang on, I'm gonna have to Google apathetic meaning. Bear with me, people. Showing or feeling no interest, enthusiasm, or concern. Oh, okay. So, what was your question?
How can you manifest from the end? Okay, so basically, when you're feeling nothing, how do you live from the end?
So like I sort of say whenever someone says, how do I manifest if I've got autism or ADHD or anything, I'm going to state this as in, I don't have this. I don't have an apathetic personality, I don't think. So I cannot speak from personal experience on this. So the only thing that I can sort of say is, based on the fact that you have an apathetic personality or you are apathetic or something, is that with everything? Because if so, then my assumption would be that it would just be a case of sticking at it, even if you don't really feel like it, just kind of doing the work, even if you don't want to, sort of thing, like living in the end, taking some time to do so. If you don't feel like that with everything, my question, and this is purely because I don't know what it's like to have this kind of like personality trait, are you apathetic towards this thing because it's not for you? Not as in like the universe has decided that it's not for you kind of thing, but for you. Are you apathetic because this person just doesn't really do it for you? Because I don't know how it works, so I don't know what you do and don't feel apathetic towards. If it's toward everything and you just kind of have a nonchalant, I don't really care personality, then I would just say it's kind of just doing the work even when you don't want to, or work on your self-concept and just let whatever comes to you come to you. And if it's the other thing where you feel like really ecstatic towards some things and not other things, and you just never met someone, then maybe it's just because, but you get super excited about other things. Maybe just keep going, like, again, with the self-concept until the thing comes to you, because maybe that person just isn't someone that you want to actually be with on just a deep down level. It's not the best answer, but without having an apathetic personality, I can't speak from personal experience, so I do apologize. Missy B says, when I came onto the stream, you had 13 likes. 13 is my number for SP, as we met on the 13th. Hey, there we go. I'm your BBL, your birds before land. Fandom Geek says, hey, forgot you were going live, 43 minutes behind. It's okay. You can just watch it after. And again and again and again. Luke Stafford says, I'm manifesting improving my metal vocals, but I can't think of any good affirmations. Any recommendations? What kind of metal vocals do you do? Is it false chord, fry scream, pitch scream? Are there others? There are others. What kind of metal vocals do you do? I would just because I actually do metal vocals as well. One of my affirmations is that I am the world's best metal vocalist. Everyone I do metal vocals for is impressed. I haven't done anything to do with my metal vocals for a while, but those were affirmations that I had before. And basically ask yourself, as a metal vocalist, what do I want to be referred as? Do I want to be referred as the world's best metalcore vocalist? Do I want to be referred as the next Chester Bennington? What is it that you want to be referred to when people speak about your vocals? And then turn that in itself into an affirmation. I posted all of the new emojis because I thought they were cool. Fandom Geek says, so some drama recently came up regarding my past self. I'm so tired and apathetic and depressed. Any help on finding the source of how I manifested this or how I should be forward? Okay, so I think the first thing to do would be, you say the drama recently came up regarding your past self and you're apathetic and depressed, and you haven't found the source of how I manifested this or show me forward. The first thing to ask yourself, does it matter how it happened? Now, I, for the most part, would say yes, it probably does, because at least then you can find the roots that are going forward. You don't repeat it. But is it something that you can just be like, ugh, that sucks, but I'm just going to move forward? Or is it something that like you do need to actually get to the bedrock of so that you can make sure it doesn't happen again? So that'd be the first thing that I recommend you doing. The second thing is, once you've decided that, get to the bedrock. So if it's something you just move forward, then just don't worry about it. Just know that it's not going to happen again. Like, let's say it's someone treating you a certain way, just know going forward that you're worthy of being respected by everyone that you know. If it's someone treating you a certain way and you really want to know why they're doing that so it doesn't happen again, be like, what did they say to me?
They commented just underneath as well. It's my birthday tomorrow as well, and I seriously don't want to feel shit over this incident. Well aware that it was my actions that led to this, but like, what manifested to bring it back up?
So without knowing the situation, without knowing your thought process and everything, I can't exactly say, and obviously I don't know the situation. I can't exactly say what did cause it to bring back up, but some recommendations that I have for you would be to look at whatever happened and try to dig deeper. So if someone treated you a certain way, for example, listen to what they said and then listen to how that made you feel, and then look deeper to see if that has anything to do with the way that you feel about yourself. And then you'll know that it's a self-concept issue. Or if it's something that they've said or done and you can kind of look back and go, oh, I did kind of like keep thinking, oh, this person doesn't like me because of X, Y, Z, and then go from there. I recommend doing what's best for you. I'm not going to tell you whether you should move forward or whether you should like return it back over to get over it, because I don't know the situation. I don't know I don't know anything about it. So I can't actually give you some advice, but those are the ways that I would handle it depending on what you choose to do. And then what you choose to do is up to you on how you go about it.
Also, just a little follow-up note, if you do choose to sort of sit with your thoughts for a bit, work out exactly what it was, you know, if somebody said to you, oh, when you did this was real shitty because la 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 la, then that might tell you exactly where it sort of came from and what you were thinking in order to bring it back up in their mind, kind of thing. But also, it's your birthday tomorrow, so ignore it for today.
Yeah, happy birthday for tomorrow as well.
Yeah, happy birthday. Have a great birthday. And if you do, you know, if you choose to just go, right, that's it, it's been brought back up, it is not going to be brought back up again, it's never going to happen again, no one's going to talk about it again, la la la, then do that right now. If you want to sit there and work out the actual route and you want to, you know, get to why it got brought back up in the first place, do that not tomorrow but the next day after your birthday. Have a good birthday.
Yeah, enjoy yourself.
Yeah. What?
Nothing. Christina says, how about journaling? Do I reaffirm the past through writing the past down just to get it out of my head? Yeah, I'm talking UK about just write down what's going on to do with the last comment. So Christina says, how about journaling? Do I write it down? Do I reaffirm the past through writing the past down just to get it out of my head? If that works for you, it's obviously a form of scripting. However, a lot of people have said that when they write the past down, it kind of helps them flush it out. And if it does help you flush it out, and then you can move on going forward, then yeah, sure, I would advise like journaling, getting it out, getting all the emotions out, like really feeling it through and getting rid of it so that you can move on going forward. If you're just writing it down for the sake of it and it's not actually going to do anything beneficial for you, I wouldn't advise it. If it's just rehashing the old story and you're just writing it down, like, and it's not actually going to benefit you. Natty J says, at JRC, thank you. It feels like a fresh start, but I know the progress and movement I saw over the summer is still happening. Yeah, it will be. That's very good. At least you know it is a fresh start, I suppose. Okay, yeah, I want to answer that question again. So you said, how about journaling? This is from Christina. How about journaling? Do I reaffirm the past through writing the past down just to get it out of my head? Because I feel like I didn't really answer that extensively enough. And obviously, I want everyone to be walking away with this knowing what to do next. So I think journaling is extremely useful to write down your goals and like what it is that your life will look like. Every single one of my clients that come to me, I say that you should write down how you would think, feel, and act, blah blah blah, if you had your desires. And I think journaling is extremely good. So I do believe that it could have the potential to help you get past it. However, if it won't help you get past it and you're just writing it down for the sake of it, I wouldn't advise that. I would instead just write down how you would like to go forward. But if you think writing it down will, and then feeling into it and scribbling out the page and punching it and shit, like if that would help you be able to let go so that you can move forward, I absolutely would recommend it. Anything that you can do to let go of the old, to cut the cord of the old shit so that you can move forward healthier, I would definitely recommend. And I think scripting is a very good way to move forward. I script all of my goals down. I script like where I'm heading, like how many hours I would need to drop in order to make X amount for my business. I script literally everything. I'm always got I've got like 6 notepads upstairs of just all different stuff. Because I think scripting is extremely powerful, which is why if it's not going to benefit you to let it go, I wouldn't advise scripting it.
I have something to say on this. So there is a type of therapy that I have personally gone through myself. It is to do with trauma. So I don't know what it is that you are trying to, get past or anything like that. But for me personally, when you have a traumatic event or something that you really did not like, something that was absolutely horrible that happened, or just something that wasn't that bad, sort of thing, a lot of the time you're storing it in the wrong part of your brain. So you are storing it in the current part of your brain. It's what leads to anxiety. It's what leads to being on edge, having that sort of fight or flight, is because your brain is experiencing it as it happening sort of around that time. Like as in right now, because you can't remember it properly. It's something that your brain has gone, this was awful, so I'm going to keep it right here. And there is something that is absolutely nothing to do with law of assumption, so I'm sorry. But what you do is your brain is storing it in it is happening right now. We can't let go of this kind of thing. And in order to let go, this isn't for everybody. This is for people who, have put it into that trauma brain. In order to let go, you need to get to the root of actually what happened in that event. So if there is something that you are really, like keeping you up all night, you can't get it out, it's going over and over in your brain, and the thing is what happens is you don't know what happened. So you know that something happened, but you don't have the true story. So it is with a therapist. I did this myself for quite a few different events that happened in my life, and the way I got rid of them, and they are fucking gone now, believe me, they are absolutely gone, is reliving them. That sounds absolutely awful and crazy to say on a law of assumption live, but I wrote them down and I got to the actual genuine story, because where your brain goes, hey, this happened, it fills it up. It makes a whole story. It adds little details. It takes away details. And that's why you can't fucking get rid of it, because it's not real, if that makes sense. You've got this version of that story. So I'm not saying to do it. I'm not saying that you should, but for me personally, journaling, yes, writing it down, getting the actual story like, this is actually what happened, and then fucking getting rid of it, and then rewriting, that, didn't happen on that day. I was doing this happened instead, sort of thing. It, it did help me personally. This was way back before I knew anything about law of assumption, and it probably doesn't really go with, letting go of the old story. But if it's something that you genuinely can't let go of because, however traumatic it was to you or something like that, it may well be that you haven't got the full story in your head, and that the way that you do that is reliving. You get it there, you put it in your brain, you get it out on paper, and it is gone forever.
Exactly. Missy B, I've just responded to your email. I thought I would try and get it out of the way, so hopefully this is before 11:30 for you, as requested. RSW says, today makes it 1 year since I last seen my SP, and I feel a bit emotional. Any words or tips that can make me feel better? Yeah, so the first thing is your SP has spent a year being away from the most amazing person, so that's on them. You should 100% always be feeling the best you can, because you're taking the time to make sure that you're feeling the best you can, doing the things that you love, doing the things that you enjoy, doing the things that make you you. You are the only person that is ever going to live through your eyes. No one else is going to be, obviously I don't know your name, so no one else is going to be RSW44. Which means your SP is missing out on you, and that's on them, because you're an amazing person, and it's okay that you're emotional, because what you can do is tomorrow or later today, depending on your time zone, you can get up and you can go, okay, what makes me me? What makes me feel happy? And then you can do all of those things, and you can remember that, yes, it might have been a year since you last seen them, but you're awesome. And you can go and do things that make you feel amazing. And by the end of doing these things that make you feel amazing, you're not going to care. You're not going to care as much. And then from that place of, yep, I'm awesome, I'm amazing, I am worthy of love, I can do this, I can be with or without you, you can then get back onto focusing on being in this loving, passionate relationship with this person if you want to. And you can know that it is going to work. You will get your person as long as you're coming from unconditional love and abundance. But you don't need this person to be the amazing person you are. You don't need them in your life to validate you. Just make sure that you're living for you, and the rest will follow. JRC says, Natty, just persist and get back on your affirmations. Absolutely. Fandom Geek says, how do you ease the feeling that manifestation is a chore to get what you want and not something fun to get your desires? Stop trying so hard and focusing on you. I know you're all tired of fucking hearing me say to go do other things, but the thing that, and some people might disagree, and that's fine. If you do disagree, that's absolutely fine. But I think the reason why a lot of law of assumption people, like people who are in the comments and people who show up to streams and people who get coaching, everything, I think a lot of the reason why those people, or I say those people, a lot of the times that people who aren't having a lot of success and are really needing the help are in that position is because they say in the law of assumption stuff that everything is through your mind. And I do 100% believe that. I do believe that you can sit on your ass all day and you can still get that money, or you can still get that person. But I have come from a science-based background, and I have come from a self-improvement based background of people that don't know anything about LOA or choose not to talk about it in their videos. Some of them do say like, oh, it's weird that if you visualize your future, like you seem to end up going that route, but not from like a law of assumption standpoint. They're just talking about visualizing your goals in general. And this is why I constantly advocate to go to the gym if you enjoy gym, to have your hobbies, to start a business. It's not because like I'm like, oh, I'm better than you because I do these things at all. Because any of you that have worked with me and any of you that have watched my videos know that I am the complete opposite to the, oh, I'm better than you. In almost every video, well, not every video, but in a lot of videos, I say the only difference between me being on the other side of the screen and you is I've figured out what works for me. I am literally stating that I am you, just maybe a couple of steps ahead in the process. That's all. But the reason why I am like that is because I used non-LOA self-improvement to get to myself to where I am now. So gym, so like emotional mastery, so business chasing, or not chasing, but business creating, like these kind of things. And that means that even when I absolutely need money for whatever reason, like interest on my debt or really want to take Katie out or something, does not get in the way. I do not become desperate regardless. Yes, I might say, oh, I can't do that. Do you mind helping me out if I haven't got the money to Katie because we're a partnership? But not once am I getting desperate. And the reason being is I have all of these other things that I have used to get my mind to where it needs to be. I think it is a bit of a tall order for LOA coaches to sit here and say, just start flipping the thoughts, just think better things. Because this is coming from, like, they might have done, and it might have worked for them, sure, but it's not that easy, especially when you've been doing it for so many years. To just flip your thoughts isn't that fucking easy. And that's why I advocate go to the gym, because when you go to the gym and you do your workout, male or female, whether you do muscle building, cardio, whatever, it doesn't matter. You walk out of that with a sense of accomplishment, which leads to you seeing yourself as, oh, I can do this. Or if you've got a business, you start making a bit more money because you now got this like sense of drive within this business or whatever. And then you're like, oh, actually, I can do that. And then you'll find, sorry, I got like really dry throat out. I know. Then you'll find you're not desperate for things to come in because you have so many other things proving to yourself how amazing you actually are. What's up? Oh, fucking, can you get rid of those while I talk, please?
Yeah.
Then you have so many things showing you how amazing you really actually are. And this is how you can then turn manifestation from a desperation thing to, this is just my experience. Because right now you're trying to force your mind to change because you've heard that mindset, you can do it on here if you need to, because that's not signed up to my thing. Because you've heard that like, oh, it's just flipping the thoughts, it's just flipping the thoughts. And yes, you can just do that. But we all require, well, not all require, but the majority of us have come here looking for external validation, looking for our SP to say you're the only man or man or woman that I will ever love, looking for this job to say, you know what, fuck me, you've done a great job, here's your pay rise, looking for our parents to approve of us. So if 3D validation is what we've all come here originally looking for, why not fucking use it to our advantage? Why not go to the gym and then see how much better you feel? And then people start going, oh, you've lost weight, like you're looking good. Or, oh, you've put on muscle, you're looking good. Still external validation, but it's coming from the way that you're seeing yourself. And then you've got like your person and you've got your business. And, you know, I hope I'm not going to go on too much of a tangent, but this is what made it. I know. It's because I swear to God, I'm the only LOA person that talks about doing stuff in the 3D to benefit yourself. I swear. Like, yeah, I don't know if you watch any videos, but I like every video that I've seen, all of them is just like, oh yeah, just make sure you visualize, just make sure you do this. And yes, you can do that. But why?
But sitting in the dark room just doing that is a little bit boring.
And I feel like, and I put up a video the other day saying, if you knew our SP was coming a month from now, what would you do? Would you sit there doing fuck all? No, you do all the things that you enjoy. So why not just do those now as part of the process?
Get your hair done, get your nails done. Yeah. And also, I think going back to the main question, tying it into a hobby is a good way to do it, or doing it when you're already doing something mundane and boring. So then it's the fun thing. So I shouldn't buy script all day at work, like in between doing like my work stuff, because obviously my work's actually quite fun. I'm not gonna lie. I run social media for the company I work for, so actually it's quite fun. But even still, being at work is like, oh, I'm at work sort of thing. So it's the fun activity whilst I'm at work, which has then in turn made it my fun activity, if you know what I mean. Because obviously when you're doing something boring and rubbish, like if you do something different, it feels better about doing it, kind of, you get what I'm saying. Or the other thing I was going to say is tying it into something that you don't need your brain for. So something like, the only example I can think of is knitting, or like creating, you know, like where you're just, you know, doing that thing. You don't necessarily need your whole brain. You need your eyes and you need to like be able to concentrate a little bit, but you don't need your thoughts, if you know what I mean. Tying it into something like that.
Yeah. I just have one final thing to say on this point. So JRC asked me earlier how I feel about being like a dad and gym and this and how I still find the time to manifest. Is because I've used those external things that require me to work on. So it's not looking for external validation. It's stuff that I'm working on that now make me feel amazing because I'm receiving constant external validation because of how well I've built myself up in those areas, to the point now I don't even have to try to manifest 9 times out of 10. So that's how you can make it fun, in my opinion, by living a fun life that builds you up. That's why I'm always advocating gym, business, and something else that I've forgotten that I always advocate. Gym, business. Don't know, something else.
Self-concept.
Yeah, but like something that you can do in like external. So like gym, business, like things that you do in the 3D.
Fun activities.
Yeah, hobbies, that's the one. That's why I'm always advocating them, because if you're living a fun life, you don't even fucking notice when shit's not coming in. And then you don't notice that you're actually trying. We need to get off this stream sort of quite soon. So if we could do no more comments now, I'll still answer everything that's there, but if we could just do no more comments for now, pretty much whatsoever, just so I can get through this, because we are so fucking far behind.
We are so tired.
We're at least half an hour behind.
We slept 5 hours, had to get up, and then had a big roast dinner, and then got straight in the car and then drove, and it is now, I don't know what time. It's only 9:30, but we have been up since 7.
Yeah.
Ish.
We need to hurry up soon, because otherwise we're going to go 3 hours and it's going to take away from next week's stream. So we got to hurry up and get through this.
If we get to 3 hours, we'll do
4. I'm sorry if I'm going to butcher this name. I'm pretty sure you told me your name no, that was Angelique. Was it Angelica? I think it was. I'm going to guess your name is Hannah. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Hannah says, hello, when I try to do sats, I can visualize the face of my SP well. There are times I find it hard to hear his voice too, or other things in my imagination. Does this mean I can't manifest it? No, not at all. As long as you know what the scene is implying and you're feeling it to be true for you in that moment, it doesn't matter how well the visual is. I suck at visualization, so I don't do it all that often, but there are times that I can actively say my visualization has planted the seed in the past, because I've not really done any affirmations for something, and then it's worked out. And my visualizations is pretty much a fucking black screen, and then like maybe I get like, oh, that's their lips.
Of an item.
Yeah. So don't worry, as long as you know what the scene implies.
I don't know how true this is, but apparently you can't hear somebody's voice. Like, you can't remember somebody's voice. You can only hear somebody's voice when they talk. You can't actually bring it up in your brain. Like, try and bring up somebody's voice in your brain. I don't know if this is just like a fact, but
I disagree. That's how I use it in the conversations, because I can hear people's voices quite well.
So you can genuinely hear exactly what
I mean, I hear you all the time, so I've kind of got used to what you sound like. Not for people that I like. For example, my mum. Had we not just come back from my mum's, I wouldn't very well. But if like you and the kids, I can quite well, because I hear your voice all the time. Okay. Yeah, because that's my most common one. I use it in the conversations.
Yeah, I do, but I don't ever hear their voice.
Do you not?
No.
I have to force it. Like, I can't just like hear your voice, but I have to like consciously put your voice into place.
Voices. It's like you can't make up a face. You can only
I agree with. I can't make up a face.
So you can only remember faces, and you can only make up voices. I'm sure that is the thing.
Maybe I'm making up a voice that's just similar to yours then.
It's like Mike Wazowski.
Hopefully that answered your question. A bit of a tangent again. Dev said, dude, just affirm low. You don't have to visualize or hear his voice. Some people prefer visualization over affirmations. Some people prefer affirmations over visualizations. It's all a personal preference. And then you also said, of course, you can manifest. You're manifesting every day. You got this. Absolutely. Yeah. And what you choose to do technique-wise is entirely up to you. Ashton Love says, hey, Matt, how do I practice gratitude more? Want to practice more gratitude for myself. Love cats. They're beautiful creatures. I just do a daily gratitude journal. I do one page. I haven't done this like for a week or so because I've been away, but I just do one page where I just write what I'm grateful for. And that's good enough for me. Sometimes if I like spend money, because money used to be a big thing for me. I always used to feel like I had to work so hard for money. I would be like, oh, I'm grateful that this money comes to me so easily. And I would just do it sparingly through affirmation form as they came across. And yeah, cats are just, I love cats. Monica Santos, howdy, says, hi guys, I've got news. Well, tell us the news. You can't just say that and then not say anything. I'm assuming you've just gone and found it.
No, I can't. That's what I was looking for. I was hoping that they just put it further down.
Okay, Monica Santos is the only person that's allowed to comment from the point when I said no one's commented, because I want to know what the news is.
I think I found it. Oh, I found it. It is lower down.
I'm just going to jump to that. Sorry, guys.
No, higher up, but like slightly lower down.
Oh, here. Is it that? Yeah. So Monica Santos says, guys, do you remember my trip to go see my SP? It's not happening anymore. He told me that it was a bad idea and that it would rekindle a flame that he didn't want rekindled. I'm a bit sad, but I won't stop manifesting a happy, committed marriage with him. Is that all that you say?
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good thing though.
Because
you were going there under the impression of, it's not going to lead to anything but bad things.
Yeah.
So it's a very good thing that it got cancelled.
But it does not mean that it's game over. It just means that you're not going to be hurt.
He's not perfect for you yet.
Exactly. He's still got some work to do. Tell him he's a little bitch boy.
Yes.
Huh? Yeah, because how can you not want something with Monica Santos? You got this. We know you do. I'm very tired now, so I'm kind of getting a bit like goofy.
Every time I'm driving, once I get to the second hour, I just start actually just babbling shit, don't I?
Yeah, you really do.
I can't help it. I'm just there like my brain can't anymore.
She starts almost crying.
I did almost cry a few times. You made me say it.
I did. What did I do?
I can't remember, but you did something that made me sad.
I just sat in the passenger seat. She's like,
no, you made me sad. Oh, you made crying noises. Yeah, but no, but
see what I live with.
You did something else that made me sad first. I can't remember what it was.
I don't think I did. Fandom Geek says, disregarding manifestation, even though we are creators of our reality, how would you handle teenage drama of someone talking behind your back, but you're the only one who talks smack and genuinely, but you're the one who talks smack and genuinely feel bad? I know it's not very law of assumption-y, but some advice overall is nice. Disregarding manifestation, even though how would you handle teenage drama of someone talking behind your back, but you're the one who talked smack and genuinely feel bad? I know it's not. So I'm a bit confused about the wedding. So did you chat shit about someone else and now they've done it back? Or did someone do it to you and now you're doing it back? Or did you do it first and now you're just feeling bad? I'm a bit confused about your question. You're also allowed to comment below. Because I want to know, but usually teenage drama, like as a teenager, you think it's some big deal and it's like, oh my God, this is like the end of my world. I'm never going to be friends with them. And 9 times out of 10, just fucking walk away. It ain't worth it. Like you're not going to meet half of these people when you leave school. I'm very lucky that I'm still friends with my like primary school group, but most people that I know aren't with their school friends.
I have one friend from school. We see each other about 3 times a year. We talk to each other all the time, but we just always forget to actually meet up. We arrange stuff and then and I had about 7 friends. Not very many, but I had about 7 friends in school and I don't even know where they are anymore. So anything that happens right now doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it really is very insignificant. But by all means, you haven't got to be like worried about it not being law of assumption advice. Ask whatever you guys want. It could be about us. It can be about my opinions on something. It can be whatever. I don't mind. If it's too personal, obviously we'll just say we're not going to talk about it. But you can ask whatever.
Just don't get offended when he says his opinion because it's always
people get a bit touchy.
Very high opinion, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're very highly
opinionated. Yeah.
Opinion.
I've lived a long life. Natty J says, I ain't stopping till we're together, but in my head we already are. That's absolutely great. B Givka says, you're looking great. Having ear infection is the worst. Get well soon.
Oh, thank you.
Grandpa Turtle says, can you manifest something after trying to do it for a long time and not being successful? Nothing to say that you haven't been successful. You just haven't been successful yet.
That's a good name and a good picture.
As long as you're coming from the assumption, as long as you're not accepting that you haven't got it yet and you're just continuing to go from the end of already having it, it doesn't matter how long it's been. Fandom Geek says, you were saying the multiple reality thing. When there's one, you might end the stream like a second later, then it ended. In reference to the comment you read. Oh, yeah, I remember now. I was like, I think you'd left the room. And I was like, oh, well, there's multiple realities. Right now, I could leave the room. Right now, I could end the stream. Right now, I could do something. Right now, I could do something else. And then I had to end the stream like a couple of minutes later. Now I get it. I was well confused. Ken Clark says, my man finna hit 10K this year. I am aiming for it. Yeah, no, that it would be nice. And I'm not doing it. My goal is 35K by June next year. That's like my overall goal. And I actually, surprise, that none of you are going to remember by next year, I've actually recorded a video in June, bless you, 2022 saying, oh, hey Matthew, 2023, how's it all going? And it is scheduled for June 2023, because I wanted to make it's here. You can't really see it very well, but it says there it's a bit of a goofy video. I just wanted to make the little oh, how did we do kind of thing, just because I thought it would be fun to do. But yeah, that's the goal. Mirko says, is it correct that my SP is just a state of being that I summon? Absolutely. You're holding the version of them in play, and that's what is allowing them to continue being that certain way. Change the assumption, changes the version. Monica Santos, obviously, about the whole not going anymore. I think that this is a good thing, considering how you spoke about it in your last live stream, which actually then gave you a lot of advice about how I thought that maybe you shouldn't go. That was just my opinion. Obviously, I didn't want you to not go if you really wanted to go. It was just my opinion. I think this is a good thing for you, and I think there's still obviously some work to be done. I can understand why you're a bit sad, but would you rather be a bit sad that it got cancelled, or would you rather be sad being there with him and having him reject you in person, because there's still work to be done, there's still reality shifting to be done? I know it's not I know it's a sucky situation, but you got to look at the best of the situation. And I know you've got this. Like you clearly have the capability to do this, and I know that you are going to succeed in having this person be crawling at your feet. JRC says Monica revised the story. Yep, you could do that if you wanted to as well, Monica. Lauren333 says, what would your SP feel when you're manifesting them if you've never met them and they don't know you exist? So my opinion on the whole what would they feel thing, I believe you will just shift into realities in which they feel in this situation to be pulled to do a certain thing that then allows you to then meet each other, which then allows them to feel certain ways. So let's say that it's someone that's on the other side of your school, for a real weird example, and they've never met you and you know who they are. Maybe one day they feel pulled to go through a certain set of doors just as you're going through, and then you bump into each other, make eye contact. They may not necessarily in that moment love you, but that's the bridge of incidents. So they might just feel pulled, oh, you know, I'm going to go this route. That could be what they're feeling. I feel like going a different route today. And then as time goes on and as your bridge unfolds, then they start to have feelings and they start to do X, Y, Z. So the best way to answer the question of what would your SP feel, they would feel whatever is the next step in order to get you to the next step of your bridge. So either pulled to go through that door, for example, or pulled to ask you out on a date, or, you know, whatever it is that is the next step, they will be pulled to do. Dev says, some people say YouTubers pay other people to make up manifestation success stories to make it seem that the law of assumption is real. I'll be honest, I have in the past thought that maybe that was something that law of assumption YouTubers did, especially when I first got into it, because obviously, like I said, I was heavily science-based. But as a coach, I can openly say right now, I have never paid anyone to make up a success story. And I've never asked anyone to make up a success story whatsoever, because it's against my nature to do that. I'm very real with you in everything that I talk about. So getting people to fake it for me just goes against everything this channel is about. Not only that, I'm still working on paying off debts. So I don't even do success stories anymore, and my channel is still growing. So I clearly don't need the success stories. So why would I sacrifice paying off my debts to pay people for success stories when I don't even use them anyway? So at least for my channel, never done that. It never paid any at all, and I don't need to pay people to still get my message across, because the great thing about my channel, if I'm tooting my own horn here a little bit, is I advocate more than just flip the thoughts. I give you genuine self-improvement advice as well. So even if law of assumption doesn't exist, I'm still helping you guys improve as individuals, or at least trying to, so that you can go ahead navigating a 3D non-law of assumption world, becoming the best version of yourself. Because let's face it, if you did start that business, if you did start sort of working out, if you did start to enjoy your hobbies, as I preach quite a lot, you'll have more finances, you'll have a better physique, you'll be more enjoying life, and your life will overall improve. So even if law of assumption didn't exist and I've been lying to you this whole time, the other side of what I preach will still help you as individuals to make progress in life. So I have no need to pay people for my success stories. But I wouldn't be surprised if there were coaches out there that did. Because I've come across some channels and I'm a bit like, how have you got a success story based on the stuff that you've been telling people? B Gift says, thanks for video name, you're very welcome. Dev says, stupid statement, manifestation is real. Yeah, I mean, it is real, but I also like the fact that you've mentioned that, because it gives me then a point to make on it. Ralph, apologies if I got that wrong. Hi from Russia, howdy, hope you're doing all right. Dev says, can you manifest your SP or whatever? Oh, sorry, you can manifest an SP or whatever you want. Absolutely. Yvonne says, do you always get your SP? You always get your SP as long as you're assuming them to be yours. Obviously, you don't have to. Like, there'll be situations where you might be like, actually, I've met someone else and they're better for me. And then that's your new route. And that's absolutely fine. And in some cases, that is even potentially easier because there's no old story to like try and navigate through or navigate past. But yeah, you do always get your SP as long as you are placing your focus in the right way. The only reason that certain people have not had their SP in an extended amount of time, and you'll be able to notice this if you were to put them all next to each other in a comment section, is because 9 times out of 10, they're coming from, I haven't got this yet, what do I do? They're in the wrong state. But yes, you do. Okna says, you can go do whatever you want, by the way. You haven't got to sit here.
No, I'm okay.
You look very ill. Go sit upstairs, go chill. And then I'll come back up in a bit. Okna says, I was affirming for money and my brother offered me money and I said, no, Lafasa, your desire can come very naturally and unexpectedly. I'm really a master at manifesting. I was affirming for 2 days. Absolutely. It comes in, sometimes I swear, they've got like a little roulette board and the universe just goes, that one. And it just throws a dart at it and goes, here, they're going to have it because of a giraffe is going to appear from a boat and give me my letter of resignation. And that is a story the universe gave me. I'm tired. Leanne.
Sounding a bit horoscopy to me.
A bit sharp. Leanne says, what do you think about indifferent mode? In my current 3D, I should be stressed and I'm worried and I don't give a fuck. The universe will solve everything for me. That's the best place to be. If you're in a situation that is usually going to cause you to react and you're just kind of just like, that's a good place to be. That's a good thing. Cassandra says, at Dev, pure bullshit. They just don't believe in it and search for excuses for success stories because they're mad they can't do it. Potentially, yeah. Roger Fidon says, hi guys, howdy, Roger. Dev says, at Cassandra, I agree. Oh, well, good thing we are not them, lol. Cassandra says, guys, I have a lack of empathy and emotions and almost don't care about anything, but if I want something, I just affirm and it's enough. That's good. I didn't know how it all worked. Missy B says, thanks for the advice, Katie. Bad bitch, it is. Phantom Geek says, building off the apathy thing, clearly I still am faithful in the law being here, but apathetic in everything. So any help would be great to pull out of a funk. I would just advise, if it's something you want, even if you don't feel great towards it, if it's something that you consciously want, just continue to do the work anyway, even if you don't want to, or even if you don't feel like it, I mean. If you don't want to, then obviously don't do it. But if you don't feel like it, but you kind of just like, but you only don't feel like it because that's your like apathetic personality type, still do it anyway. Roger says, I'm really having a hard time to ignore the 3D. You don't have to ignore. You have to redirect focus. So it's not a case of like, oh, I'm not seeing this, blah, 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 covering my ears. It's a case of like, okay, I'm seeing what I'm being given, but in my reality, this is the case. And you just redirect your focus. And this is, again, why I advise having so many things external to LOA to work on, is because it allows you to be able to take your focus off of it for just a couple of minutes while you go to the gym, while you work on your business, while you do tennis or whatever it is that you enjoy. Takes you out of the 3D circumstances and puts you in the present moment a bit more. Jordan Strang says, I keep seeing 63 everywhere. I don't really know how to take it because it's my SP's house number. Could it be birds before land or another sign? I don't know. That's up to you to decide. You can choose the meaning of it. JRC says, I will say I struggle manifesting multiple things or what to manifest first. So I find that...
Sorry, I am going to go. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, you too.
I'm suddenly feeling a bit too ill.
It's fine. I'll be up in a minute.
Bye.
So when it comes to multiple things, if you struggle to do it, obviously I do advise it, but if you struggle to do it, don't try forcing it. That's obviously the whole thing that I kind of preach quite a lot. But I would advise trying to, if you can, come up with a formula that works for you. So maybe you can do one thing one day, one thing the next day, one thing the next day, one thing the next day. Or maybe you could just do, like, in the morning, you'll focus on one thing. Maybe at lunch, you'll focus on another thing. And then maybe at dinner, you'll focus on another thing. And maybe before bed, another thing. And at least you're doing sectioned focus. And then throughout the day, if any of those desires come to mind, then you can kind of place your focus on it already being the way you want it to be. And that's for what to manifest first. Like, I'd recommend manifesting it all at the same time or finding the thing that would make you the happiest and going for that first. Christina says, thank you. You're welcome. Grandpa Tattles says, what if you feel like not bothered or like not even think of manifesting? If you don't not feeling bothered, but you still want your desire, I still would recommend like maybe just doing a meditation or something just to kind of keep you in line with consciously placing your focus on something. If you don't want to do it, like if you feel like it's a chore, then don't do it. Just take some time for you. Go do other things that you enjoy and then do it when you do feel like it. Ochner says, though manifesting and law of assumption is simple, it still takes, I'm assuming that's discipline. It's about you wanting it bad enough. I do agree. Discipline is everything. And again, this is why I preach like gym, business and stuff, because discipline can be used in a wide range of things. And discipline is so important. Missy B says, thanks, Matt. Very grateful. Apologies for short notice and late requests. That's fine. Oh, it skipped. Fandom Geek says, does Katie have night lights or is it the lighting? Lol. Night lights. What? I don't know. We've got a ring light. Ring light. That's the only lighting in here at this moment. Oh, highlights. Oh, I should have probably read your next comment. No, it's not highlights. She dyed it before, and now it's kind of just like falling out. I thought you said night lights. Well, you did say night lights, but I didn't read your next comment where it says highlights. AH says, hello, how do you handle when you're feeling down? How to manifest when you're at your lowest? Okay, again, and you're all going to get tired of me saying it. Have things that you enjoy to bring you out of your lowest point. A lot of the time, people get into a lowest point because they want the specific thing, and they're not doing anything to work on themselves. So I would advise at least getting a hobby or something like that that makes you happy and makes you feel good. So when you're feeling low, you can just disconnect from reality and go and do this thing that you enjoy doing, and that will hopefully bring you out of it a little bit. And you can still manifest even at that lowest point by just putting your focus on what you want, even if it's 5 minutes. So you spend 5 minutes a day, maybe doing a meditation and a visualization of you being with whatever it is that you want, and feel it real, and then just go about your day just knowing that it's done. And then you don't have to do anything for a little while, as long as you're trying, as long as you're not actively thinking the opposite. But again, don't force it. If you're feeling low and you feel like it's a chore to do, I wouldn't recommend doing anything, because then you're just in a state of lack trying to force it. Roger says, it's like I want to manifest my SP, but whenever I think about it, I'm not able to ignore the 3D or old stories. So I end up feeling lack and down, and thinking about new stories makes me feel it's fake. So faking it is making it. That's the first point I want to make. But this is why self-concept is so important, because you can just build up the better version of yourself, and you could potentially have someone new. If you are struggling to let go of the old story and you're not doing anything to make yourself feel happier, like for the interim, I would recommend that you do just work on self-concept for a bit. And then what you'll find will happen is you'll either have your SP come back, or like because of your self-concept, you'll feel like less caring about the 3D or the old story. Apologies for the creaky floorboards. Which makes it then easier for you to move forward, or someone else will come in and you can get with them because you prefer them, which is actually quite common. A lot of people find someone new and they're like, oh my God, this is everything I've dreamed of, and there's no old story. So I recommend having things that make you feel good and working on self-concept when you're like that. Fandom Geek says, oh, super off topic. So you have to comment on our comments to confirm it's an entry to give the giveaway, or does every comment just automatically count? Because you have said like entry added when I comment. So I comment entry added on every comment just because I respond to every comment anyway. But if you've placed a comment on a video and it says CFC at the end, if I'm not to respond, you know that it's been added because I've seen it. But I do respond to every comment, and I just put entry added just so that you are aware. But if I don't put entry added, but you've said CFC, your entry has been added. Yeah. RSW says, are you a this or something better believer? I am, because I believe that our lives should be the best that it could possibly be. As law of assumption people, our lives should be the best that it can possibly be. And I mean, if a person comes to me and says that like they want this specific person, I'll always work with them on getting that specific person. But if someone is like, oh, this person's come around, do you reckon I should go for them? I'm always like, well, do you reckon that this is someone better for you than the other person? If so, then I reckon you should go for them, because you can love your SP, but if they're like, if it's causing you more hassle to manifest them, but you've been working on self-concept or whatever, and someone better comes along that makes you happy, there's no reason why you shouldn't if you want to. But I don't actively tell people to say this or something better, because people want what they want. I work with people to get them what they want, and I always work on self-concept with people so they will get this or something better anyway. I don't have to preach it. Oh, okay. Sorry, Nina. I didn't mean to get your name wrong. But Nina says, thanks, Matt. Sorry, it's in Cyrillic. It's Nina. Thank you for answering my question. I do worry about my visualizations. Thank you so much. It made me feel better with my visualizations. You're very welcome, Nina. Fandom Geek says, I talk shit nonchalantly in the heat of the moment and I feel bad. Obviously, in future retrospect, it's trivial, but now they're weaponizing my past of said actions against me when I'm trying to change my behaviors and better stuff. I'd fucking say just ignore them. I know, like it's probably quite difficult to, but there's no benefit to you being involved. Like, yeah, you may have chat shit in the beginning, but who fucking cares? We all chat shit at times in our lives. We all still do. Like, there's times when I talk to Katie about things that bothered me with people I work with or whatever. Like, we all do just say, oh, so and so's done this, or oh, like, have you seen her fucking hair? So just ignore it. You're changing you, and you know that in the future that your current thoughts are going to become your future's reality. So if you're in a better position mentally now, not giving into the shitty 3D, then you know in the future it's not going to matter. Pragia, fuck, I fucking skipped down. And stupid nude stuff. No, get off my stream, you prat. Go away. Now Katie's not here, I have to moderate my own stream. Remove. Remove. Progress says, hi, I recently been unbothered with my SP. I do want him back because of time and effort put in, but at the same time, don't care much about it. Pretty much dropped it. Is it a Sabbath state? It's hard to say because you're saying that you want him back because of time and effort, which is, in my opinion, is like kind of an ego thing. You're kind of like, well, I've done this much, so I might as well, which is not really coming from like an unconditional love. You just don't care. And you're like, oh, well, I've put the effort in, so I might as well, which might not be the case. It's just how it comes across. But if you're nonchalant, then I would say that you've let go of the attachment, and that's a good state to be in. But I would maybe check to see if you actually want this person, because I do want him back because of time and effort I've put in. Kind of seems like a strange reason to want someone. I would rather want someone because of like, I feel great being with this person, they benefit in me, not just because I put the effort in. So maybe have a little look-sees at your where you're coming from on that. Natty J says, I've been listening to the custom tape you guys made for me the last couple of nights, and old negative stories / thoughts about him are disappearing from my thoughts. Woohoo! That's great to hear. I'm very glad that the tape has done well for you. That is, and like continues to do well. It's always great to hear success stories or good feedback, on those things. Roger says, yes, I remember. I asked him for success stories and he asked me to make my own success story instead of sharing random success stories, so I can bet on it that he is not one of those YouTubers. Yeah, absolutely. I do want to make a comment on that. The only reason I asked for that was because I wanted to make sure that he didn't use his success story as a bad thing, because the way in which the success story request was made me a bit concerned that actually giving a success story would make him feel more down. I didn't just deny the success story because I didn't have them. There is a little bit of context behind that one. But yes, I do advocate to become your own success story. I have done videos in the past, but I will always be someone that says someone else's success does not dictate your own. You should become your own success story. But yeah, I'm never going to lie about my success stories. AH says, how much are the custom tapes? I can have a little quick look for you, because I don't even remember my own stuff. I've got a tape to do because I've been away. I haven't been able to keep up with the services very well. Fortunately, there's only one more tape left to do. So person who has paid for that tape and hasn't received it yet, I will definitely be getting on it as soon as I possibly can. You will have it tomorrow. I can promise you it will be no later than tomorrow. But the tapes are £7 for 10 affirmations, £13 for 20 affirmations, or £17 for 30 affirmations. Natty J says, I bought it in like June. I think it was like £6. I'm not sure if he's still making them because I know he's grown a lot and has more clients. He might though. Phantom Geek says, bye Kate. I am still making them. I had to put the price up a bit because we had a lot of custom affirmation requests come through, which is great. However, because they require me to edit them, Katie to voice them, we have to come up with the affirmations for the situation. And obviously with the kids and stuff and trying to find the quiet time to do so, it was actually quite difficult to keep up with so many of them. And some people were getting quite agitated with how long they had to wait for it, which was a very unfortunate bit of feedback, but feedback that I can absolutely understand. So we had to put the price up a bit to kind of just warrant the amount of effort, and like, we need to do this now, losing our evenings to do the recording and to do the effort of editing and everything. So yeah, they have gone up a bit, but we are still doing them. We're almost done. More porn things. Piss off. God's sake. No one cares about you. Weird people. Jazz Deep says, you have made it when spam bots started hitting your channel. Yeah, absolutely. It's quite funny. I've actually been approached for a couple of partnerships as well, which I've declined because they don't benefit me or you guys as much as I think they think they will. And obviously, I'm here for you lot, so there's no point me doing a partnership and be like, oh, by the way, go to these people when it has nothing that will actually benefit you. But yeah, I did notice that I'm starting to get a lot more spam as well as a lot more like partnerships and stuff like that, like requests, which is quite interesting. Ria says, does missing SP hurt your manifestation? Not if you're not dwelling in it for too long. We are human and we do have emotions, but if you're sitting there all day, every day missing them, then yes, you need to pull yourself out of that. But having like 20 minutes here and there where you're just a bit like, oh, I wish they were here, that's fine. Just make sure that you're not dwelling in it for too long. Gus says, what's your thoughts of always watching videos? I know what I need to do, but watching these videos and listening to them while I work gives me a sense of peace and comfort. As long as you're doing the work, then that's fine. But don't be watching them for the next answer and the next answer. Don't be watching them because you think what you're doing now is wrong. Always be making sure that you're doing the work while doing so. Natty J says, I feel like I'm on the right road with manifesting an FC movement, but I really think I'm going to do the email coaching with you guys soon. I want to maintain my manifestation. I know I don't need coaching to maintain it, but the additional support will help. That's absolutely fine. I mean, if you've got an entry in the giveaway, obviously you can earn as many as you like by commenting on many others, and then you can get 3 days for free. So that could potentially be the amount of coaching that you might need to just click. So get involved in the giveaway if you're interested. Fandom Geek says, oh my god, more of that stupid drama. Sorry, I know you're ending the stream soon, but I accidentally followed them and now they're posting saying interesting with a screenshot of me following. Just fucking ignore it. Like, I mean, first off, I don't believe you accidentally followed them. I'm gonna be real. Sorry, but any tip other than ignore, should I just block and physically confront? Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna call you out a little bit on that. How do you accidentally follow them? I feel like you've been looking and engaging in it. If you have, whatever, just accept it. And second off, there is no, if they're disrespecting you, then yes, confront them. No, I truly misclicked. Okay, all right. I'll let you off then. But if they're disrespecting you, then we got another cat. Yoink. Then yes, absolutely confront them in person because I know LOA and self-improvement, they kind of are slightly separate in a way, but I don't believe in allowing yourself to be disrespected. I will call out people if I'm disrespected. I will stand up for myself. I don't give a fuck whether I can change the behavior. I stand up for myself. But so if they're disrespecting you, absolutely confront them. If it's just like interesting because they're trying to get in your skin, I just fucking ignore it. There's no point. If you feel disrespected though, I would confront them. But that's entirely your thing. This is like, I'm not a teenager and I'm not in your position and I don't want you to go get beaten up. So I confront them, but make sure you don't get beaten up. And Anne says, you kind of answered my unasked question a few minutes ago. Thanks. You're very welcome. Natty J says, confront them because that's disrespectful and then affirm it in your head. Jordan Strang says, not going to lie, they kind of sound like not a very nice person, trying to be PG here. And then Natty J says, I'm always respected by everyone. I am worthy of respect. Yeah, flip the story in your mind. If you need to confront them, confront them. You've got my back. You've got my back. I've got your back. Sorry. Well, there's not very much I could do from here, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I honestly think it's probably not worth it. That's just teenage drama, and it really is irrelevant. But it's up to you what you do. Phantom Geek says, what a good note to end on, and then an Android laughed. With all that said, people, thank you very much for showing up to this stream. I'm hoping that we'll be at the 3K so that next weekend we can do the 3-hour stream, even though the stream's nearly at 3 hours anyway. So maybe I'll have to do 4 hours. Now we'll see. But thank you everyone for showing up. Thank you very much. Sorry, I've forgotten the name. I think it was Begivka. Yeah, thank you very much, Begivka, for your donation. It's very, very kind of you. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye.